Hi guys, welcome to another live stream. Hope you've all had a good day. I'm particularly looking forward to this live tonight. In regards to the theme I've chosen, which happens to be one of my favorite themes, and that is ghost and paranormal movies. So I'm sure if you guys share my love of ghost and paranormal movies, you'll have plenty to talk about. And also, as I mentioned in the when it was advertising the stream tonight, I'm also going to include a true paranormal. Yeah. So if any of you guys have had any real ghostly experiences, strange things happened in your house, whatever, please feel free to discuss them. Yeah, absolutely fascinated by that sort of thing. As I've actually written a book, 200 True Ghost Stories. They are Alan Toner there at the bottom. Yeah. This is just one of many guys I've written. So if you go to me Amazon page, you'll see all my titles what I published today. Yeah, so I'm very, very proud of this book. Yeah, 200 True Ghost Stories, and some famous, some not so famous. So that's that one. And also, getting back to the fiction, the fictional aspect of the live, the ghost and paranormal movies. I've got this fantastic book here as well, the Fright Fest Guide to Ghost Movies. So I thought I'd bring this along as well to sort of because there's quite a few movies in here that I've never even heard of, and that of course you've got the classics like the Amityville Horror, the Haunting, and that movies like that. But this is actual mine of information, guys, on it. All sorts of ghost movies and that, yeah. So, but more on that later, anyway. And finally, I got this Tiger Tank book of it. This must be actually the biggest ghost book I've got in my whole library, and that is Ghosts. Just look how thick that is, guys. Yeah, like an absolute. It's like a Bible, isn't it? Ghosts, True Encounters with the Worlds Beyond. Yeah, the cult bestseller, finally paperback. Yeah. So loads of ghost stories and that. Yeah. All right then, guys. So we're going to get onto the comments now. Thanks to everybody anyway for turning up again. Yeah, really appreciate it. So just bear with me, guys. Right. Okay. We've got Peace here. You okay, Peace? Enjoyed your stream last night. Pete's saying, "Hey, Alan, have a great stream." Oh, thanks very much, Pete. Yeah, and you as well, because you told me before you're going to be on another stream tonight, and you're going to catch up with this one later on. But yeah, I hope it goes well for you, Pete. Yeah, and I really enjoyed it last night. Talking to you and the guys and that. Yeah. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. Yeah. Cheers. Gina Walpole. You okay, Gina? Hi, Alan and everyone. Hope you had a good week. Yeah, good. Thanks, Gina. Hope you did as well. Yeah. Thanks for coming along. Yeah, really appreciate it. Tony Crosby. You okay, To? Good evening, Alan and gang. Yeah, hope you've had a nice day, To. Yeah, thanks for dropping by. Really appreciate it. Edward's here. You okay, Edward, mate? Yeah. Evening, Alan. Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm not too bad. Thanks, Edward. Hope you are. Hope you're okay as well. Yeah, thanks for dropping by. Brian Gilson. You okay, Brian? Hi, Alan. Hope you are well. Me and my mum and nephew are really looking forward to the stream. We love the paranormal. Oh, same here, Brian. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could talk till the cows come home about ghosts and the paranormal and that. I've actually had experiences myself of the paranormal, especially when my dad passed away. All sorts of strange things happened, in my house and that. And also, my mum and dad used to live in a very, very haunted house in Brook Street, Birkenhead. I don't know if anybody's on here familiar with Brook Street and Birkenhead, but apparently, according to the history, my mum told me this, a woman fell down the stairs in the house and broke her neck. So my mum said presumably it was a ghost that was haunting the house and that. Yeah, because you used to hear like footsteps in that in the middle of the night and all sorts of weird things and that, and a chopping of wood. There was nobody there and that. Very, very haunted house. Yeah. Right. Let's see. Fazbear Brothers. Evening, Alan. Hope you're doing well. Looking forward to the stream. Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, I am as well. Yeah. As I say, I love the subject of ghosts and the paranormal and that. Absolutely fascinated by it. I really am. Yeah, and also, I'd like to broach the subject of there's quite a few haunted buildings in Liverpool, like the Adelphi, a lot of haunted pubs over there and that, I've read quite a bit about Liverpool and that, haunted Liverpool and that. Oh yeah, absolutely fascinating. And Marks and Spencer's as well, I believe. when I started working there, a good few years ago, when we had our induction, the chap who was holding the induction now, he said, I don't know if any of you know this, but the store's got a resident ghost. Yeah, apparently in the basements and that. Oh yeah, I mean, you know, like these buildings, like, you know, when you hear about them and that, you know, absolutely fascinating, you know. Chestnut 7, you okay? Evening, Alan and everyone. Oh, thanks for turning up. Yeah, nice to have you along. Right then, guys, so getting back to ghost movies and paranormal movies, have you got a particular favourite supernatural movie you'd like to discuss? Yeah, leave your comments on that. You know, be very interested to hear your choices. I love the Haunting, you know, the original Haunting from I think it was 1960 or 61. That's a brilliant film, that, with Richard Johnson in. I love The Legend of Hell House, 1973. You know, starring Roddy McDowall. That's a good one, based on the novel by Richard Matheson. Yeah. I love The Innocents. Yeah, Deborah Carr, that's a good one. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Oh yeah, I love you know, it doesn't, I've said this before, a horror movie doesn't have to have tons of blood and gore, as long as it's got the you know, the creepy atmosphere and that. And boy, those movies, guys, I've just mentioned, they were absolutely brimming with a ghostly atmosphere and suspense. Yeah, fantastic movies. I like the Amityville. I didn't like the original Amityville horror from 1979, but I did like a couple of the ones after. But of course, as the series went on, they dipped in quality. Yeah. Gerard is a movie fan. Hello, Alan, and the rest. You okay, Gerard? Yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, nice to have you along. Hope you've had a nice day. Chestnut 7 says, I too love the paranormal. I've had some experiences that convinced me. Yeah, well, as I say, like, you know, if you want to discuss anything at all, like, you know, yeah, please feel free to do so. Yeah, absolutely fascinating. Tony Crosby, okay, To. My all-time favorite is The Legend of Hell House. Yeah, it's great, that one. Yeah, with Roddy McDowall and that. Yeah, and Gail Honeycutt. Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. That, watched it many times and that. Yeah, fantastic movie. Yeah, I say, based on the novel Hell House by Richard Matheson. Right, so just right. Gina says The Haunting is my favorite supernatural movie. Yeah, fantastic one. Yeah, with Richard Johnson in. Yeah, it's a great one, that. Yeah, based on the novel, the 1959 novel, The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Yeah. Oh yeah, fantastic movie. That scared the crap out of me when I watched that when I was a kid. The part where the two women are on the bed, you know, and they're huddled up together, and the door, these footsteps coming towards the door, and like, boom, boom, boom. You think the door's going to break open and that, you know, and you don't know what the hell's behind that door. It's true what some horror aficionados say. It's not what you see that can be scared. It's what you don't see, you know, because the mind can conjure up all sorts of, you know, terrifying images, can't it? Well, I'm sure if you've watched horror movies and that, you've heard sounds and horror movies and that, and your mind's evoked all sorts of, you know, unpalatable images. Yeah. Oh, that's a great movie, that, absolutely redolent with atmosphere. Chestnut 7 is saying The Entity was creepy, is based on a true story. Yeah, it was good, The Entity. Yeah. Oh, that was one brutal ghost, that, wasn't it? Yeah, raped her all the time and that. Oh yeah, it was a brutal movie, that, definitely. Gerard is a movie fan. I'm fine. Good to hear. Kyle McCready, you okay, Kyle? Hi, Alan. Hope you're well, mate. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, I remember living with my auntie in Liverpool, and she used to say Bowl Street was like a time walk and haunted. Yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah. I love Ghost Stories at Christmas, the BBC series from 70s. Same here. I love them as well. Yeah. Admittedly, some of them have been a bit of a hit and miss. My favourite one is A Whistle and I'll Come to You, My Lad, based on an old English ghost story by M.R. James, who, by all accounts, is our, the best English ghostwriter ever. And I would tend to go along with that. He's a fantastic writer. Oh yeah, I love that one. Yeah, with the fella, he goes on holiday, doesn't he, to the seaside and that, and he finds this whistle in the sand and that, this antiquated look. Well, it's like a flute. He takes it back to his lodgings and that, and he blows it, and you get this entity, you know, appear in his bedroom and that, like under a sheet and that. Oh, it's a real chilling one. I tell you another one I like as well, The Signal Man with Charles Dickens. That's a good one. Yeah, Denholm Elliott was in it, wasn't he? Yeah, that's a great one, that, The Signal Man. They done getting back to a Whistle and I'll Come to Me, lad. They remade that, didn't he, a couple of years back with John Hurt. It wasn't as good because he tampered with the story and that. They should have left it alone and that. The original was the best one. Yeah, fantastic. Right. Fazbear Brother says, have you seen the original Woman in Black? Yeah, I've seen the TV version and I've seen the movie with Daniel Radcliffe, and I love both of them. Oh, I tell you what, that TV version, it's got one big almighty jump scare. And of course, if you guys know, if you've seen it, you know what I mean. Oh, God. When I first saw that, I nearly crapped myself, you know, I really did. It was so unexpected. And I think it was the mother of all jump scares, if you ask me, that TV one. Oh, God, yeah. Still get shivers now thinking about it. I say this book before I was showing before. I'll be going through this later on. I'll be calling out some movies, guys. So let me know, you know, if you've seen them and not. And that. This is a great book. This Fright Best Guide and that. I've got the whole set now. They've done one on werewolves and that. They've done slashes and that. And you know, oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, different aspects of horror really in that. And oh yeah, I'm really made up with it. Yeah, so I'll be going through this later on, guys, and I'll be showing you some photographs, and I'll be reading some, you know, titles of ghost movies out. Yeah, right. Just catch up with the comments, guys. Richard Brown's here. You okay, Richard, mate? Have you seen The Changeling with George C. Scott? I have, yeah. I wasn't too keen on it, unfortunately, Richard. Although I do know a lot of people like it. It's one of those Marmite movies, isn't it? You know, you either like it or loathe it. I mean, I didn't really loathe it. I just found that, you know, a trifle boring, you know. Yeah, but I could give it another watch and that and seeing that because it's been some time, you know, since I watched it. Now, George C. Scott, isn't it? Yeah. It might grow on me. Tony Crosby, have you seen the movie Ghost House, Alan, about a haunted American theatre? I've got a movie, in the collection, called Ghost House, but it's an Italian one. It's got the picture on the front's got a little girl holding a doll and that, like a raggedy doll, and it's a while since I watched it, but I think it's something to do with the doll. The doll's like possessed or something. But that one you're referring to there, Ghost House, about haunted American theatre, I don't think I have, you know. Don't think I've seen that one. Brian Gilson says, my favourite ghost film is The Fog, and the original Woman in Black is really creepy. Yeah, not too keen on The Fog, but I love The Woman in Black. Right. Utter Rubbish is saying M.R. James is great. Yeah, I would certainly echo that sentiment. Yeah. He wrote the what's the name as well, didn't he? The one, The Night of the Demon with Donna Andrews. He wrote the originals, Casting the Ruins. That was the story upon which the movie, it was 1958 it was made. The Night of the Demon was loosely based. Yeah. Oh, he's a great writer, M.R. James. Yeah. Very, very, he's very, very good at evoking atmosphere, you know, of ghosts and that, and you know, people going on holidays and that, and explorers and that, and all these old buildings and that. Oh yeah, great. He's great, M.R. James. Kyle McCready is saying, my favorite from that series is the Lost Hearts. The kids were well creepy in that great story. Yeah, the Lost Hearts. I don't remember too much about that one because he made quite a few, didn't he? Yeah, they might repeat that one. Richard Brown says E.F. Benson was the equal of M.R. James as a ghost story writer. I've seen E.F. Benson's collection, although I haven't read them. I might have read one or two short stories in the past, which are, of course, like I started reading ghost and horror stories since I was knee high, so he most probably wouldn't have meant much to me then. But in later years, I've seen his collections, like in Waterstones and that. Yeah, I'll have to check them out. Tony Crosby is saying The Innocents was also a fantastic movie. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Deborah Carr and that, and the two kids. Yeah, very, very atmospheric movie. Yeah, love The Innocents. I tell you another one I like as well with Nicole Kidman. The Others got a great twist. That one. Yeah. If any of you haven't seen it, I won't give away the ending, but I tell you, if you love a good ghost story, you want to check that out if you haven't seen it. Excuse me, guys, while I take a swig. But yeah, I love me ghosts and paranormal movies. Anybody seen a movie called It's going back a while now. The Ghost of Mrs Muir, starring Rex Harrison. That's quite a good one. Yeah, it's set in the olden days and that, you know, so he's a ghost of a sea captain. And he made a movie, they made a series as well, if my memory serves me correctly. Was it Samantha Egger that was in it? I'm sure it was Samantha Egger. Anybody on here, remembers the series and like me on that. I'm sure it was Samantha Egger was in the series. Just get rid of this nutcase, guys. You always get one, don't you? One bloody loony. Nothing better to do with their sad life. Get out of this room now. Got rid of him. You know, these people, don't want to go on too much about it, but they must have lived sad lives and that. They really must live sad lives and that, you know, to sort of like encroach on people's live streams and that. I hate it no when you come onto other people's live streams as well and start spouting crap, you know. Yeah, oh God. Get thee behind me, Satan. Scum of the earth they are. Fazbear Brothers, one of my favourite supernatural films is The Shining. I love The Shining, yeah. The Overlook Hotel must rate as one of the most terrifying, creepy, haunted buildings in cinema history. Love the book as well by Stephen King. Richard is saying The Others was a bit of a rip-off of James Herbert's Haunted. I wouldn't say that. No, I wouldn't say that. I don't think... I never saw it that way. I enjoyed both movies and that, yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't concur on that. Tony Crosby, Oh Willow Wally, the song from The Innocents was very creepy, yeah. Eb Nay is here. You okay, Eb? Thanks for dropping by. Great to see you, Alan. All the best from Glasgow. Oh, thanks very much, Eb. Yeah. I've never been to Scotland, the Glasgow. Yeah, I'll have to try and get up there one day. Yeah, I've never been to Ireland either. Carl McCready, do you remember the TV film Ghostwatch from the early 90s with the possessed Parkins? I do remember that well. Yeah, and I'm going to be getting that when it comes out at Halloween. Yeah, they're going to release a special edition of that. Ghostwatch, and that everybody thought it was real, didn't they? Like the Blair Witch Project and that. Yeah. I don't remember every single detail about it, but I know it was quite creepy and that. So yeah, I'll be getting that. I don't know if it's is it Second Sight that's releasing that Ghostwatch? I'm sure it's Second Sight. Yeah, I'll be getting that. Yeah, watch that right through. Sarah Green was in it, wasn't she? It reminded me of that case in 1977. Guy lying Playfair, This House is Haunted, the poltergeist in that suburban street. Yeah, it was very reminiscent of that. Yeah, oh yeah, I'll be definitely getting that Ghostwatch. Yeah, and hopefully it has quite a few special features on it. Sam K.A. says, hello from Turkey, Alan, on our halls. Oh, I hope you're enjoying your halls, Sam. Yeah. Brian Gilson says, have you seen Stephen King's Rose Red? It's really good. Yeah, I saw it. It was okay. I didn't keep it in my collection and that because I didn't like it enough to want to keep it in my collection. But it was okay. Yeah, big old haunted house and that. And quite some creepy moments in that. Yeah. And then he done a prequel, didn't he? The Diary of Ellen Rimbauer, which I don't think Stephen King had any input in, did he? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he had much of an input on that one. Kyle is saying 101 films, I think. Yeah, can't wait for it. Tony says Marty Hopkirk was a great ghost. He was, yeah. Nobody can see me, Jeff. Only you, Jeff. Only you. Do you know what? I never missed one episode of that when I was a kid. When I used to watch that in the late 60s, I used to love it, and of course Jeannie, his girlfriend, and that, yeah, it was like a side plot, wasn't it? Really, like a subplot in that. Oh yeah, the scrapes he got into in that, and Kenneth Cope was really on the money in that role as Marty Hopkirk, as was Mike Pratt. He was great as his partner. Yeah, love Randall Hopkirk. Yeah, I believe they released the Blu-ray of that, haven't they? So I might get that. Yeah, one of my all-time favorite series as when I was a kid. Ebney is saying at the Enfield Poltergeist inspired Ghostwatch, and Guy Lyon Playfair's on the credits as consultant. Oh, right, Playfair's are on the credits. Interesting. I've got the BBC DVD of 2007. Right, yeah. As I say, I'll get the Blu-ray when it comes out. I think it's coming out near Halloween. Yeah, so yeah, looking forward to getting that, revisiting that. Sam K.A. is saying We'll be revisiting The Ruins when back last watched at the cinema. The Ruins is a great movie, yeah. I've done a review of that, a couple of videos back and that, yeah. It's a the book, like, as I say, there was one particular scene in the book where I found very, very sluggish, slow, and I cast that aside. But when I watched the movie, I'd also go back to the book and, try and persevere till the end to see how the end compares to the movie. Vasbear Brothers says, have you seen the film Survivor with Robert Powell? Really creepy. I loved the book, but I didn't care for the movie. Unfortunately, I didn't, because a lot of the horror out of the Survivor, and I said this in a previous live stream, the book was really horror, it was creepy and horrifying, but they toned it down for the Robert Powell movie, which was a shame, really, because I thought it was a missed opportunity there. They could have done great things with that Robert Powell movie, yeah. But yeah, I wasn't too keen on that, but I loved the book by James Herbert. Carl McCready, Voices from 1973 was a great ghost film. Twist at the end. That's the one with Gail Honeycutt, isn't it? And David Hemmings. Yeah, I agree with you, Kyle. Yeah, great twist. Sam K.A. is saying, what did you think of Monster Go Home on Blue? I bloody hated it. I did. I hated it, yeah. I think I've said this before. Oh, God. Oh, another missed opportunity. Oh, I didn't like it at all. No, self-flogged it on eBay. Awful movie. Ebony. This Halloween will indeed be 30 years anniversary of Ghostwatch, yeah? God, it only seems like yesterday, that, doesn't it? Grace Halloween Night on BBC 1992. It only seems like yesterday. The 90s, it really does, yeah? God. Where's the time going? What about the Stone tape? Didn't like that, Richard. I bought the DVD and I didn't like it. It bored me senseless, yeah. This is what annoys me about some of these these TV series, what they promise so much when you read the blurb, and when you watch them, they offer so little. So that was another one I slung on eBay and that, yeah. Brian Gilson, I remember watching Ghostwatch when it first aired, and it was a great Halloween night. Do you like the house films? The house films, well, when I first watched them, I thought, I first rented them out like in the late 80s, early 90s, and I thought the first one was all right, but I didn't care much for the subsequent ones, unfortunately. The first one was okay, but watching it now, it seems a bit corny and cheesy. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not really a great fan of the house movies. Fazbear Brothers is saying, have you seen the documentary Ghosts of the Underground? No, I haven't seen that. Is that an American production? So getting back to the true side of a ghost and the paranormal. Do any of you guys live by any haunted houses by any chance? Yeah, if you do, yeah, please feel free to discuss. Yeah, always interested to hear about people's true life experiences and that. Yeah, but oh yeah, getting back to the ones I've had and that, a lot of strange things happened in our house when my dad passed away in 1988. The door had opened on its own and that. We'd hear footsteps and that, and my mum, when my dad was alive, he was a bit of a practical joker. Now he used to have a habit of like he was sitting side by side, obviously in the living room watching telly, sitting by my mum and that. We'd both be in the armchairs and that. And when my mum started dropping off to sleep, he'd have a habit of picking the newspaper up and thwacking it on his arm, like on his palm, like that, thwacking. And mum would jump, so what are you doing that for? And he'd start laughing and that. I was only joking, he said. You would go to sleep, weren't you? Yeah. But so you've done that a few times over the years. So shortly after he passed away, me and my mum were in the living room again watching the television and that. It was a winter's night, and my mum was dropping off and that, and all of a sudden she started and that, and she said, I just heard the thwacking. I said, what? She said, the thwacking. So when your dad used to get the newspaper and thwack it against the palm of his hand. I said, you're joking. Yeah, I'm not. She said. So yeah, so that was another weird experience in that, yeah. And then getting back to me, my auntie, God rest her soul, like she died in 1990, 2 years after my dad. And I was in the flat one day. My auntie had gone up to her daughters and that, and I was doing some writing and that, and I just got sat up on the typewriter and that, and then he heard these footsteps in the living room, shambling across the floor and that, and I thought it was my auntie back and that, so I shouted her name, no answer. I shouted again, no answer, and they were coming near the door and that, my writing room. Oh God, I jumped up I switched my typewriter off, and I legged it out that house that day and that. So when it went round to me mum and dad's, my dad said, "You're early, Al." Oh God, I said, after what I've just experienced with my aunties and that. Oh yeah. Oh God, it was real creepy. That I distinctly heard the footsteps coming towards the door, and I was expecting the knob to open and that. Well, like before my auntie moved into that flat, there was an old lady died. Used to live in there and that. So I don't know if it was a spirit or not. But I'm very, very open-minded about the supernatural. I think we've only really scratched the surface of it. Really, we don't really know too much about it, and it's just one big mystery. It really is. Yeah. So okay, I'll get back to the comments and that. But oh yeah. Yeah, as I could talk about the supernatural ghosts of the cows come home. Sam K.A. Fair enough. Will you be watching Rob Zombie's Monsters? No. Emphatically no. Ebony. BBC Halloween, Saturday 1992, had Ghost Watch on BBC One. Yeah. Then on BBC Two, a horror movie marathon hosted by Dr. Terror was on all night till 5 a.m. All right, I don't remember that. But I do remember Ghost Watch, being screened at Michael Parkinson. Sam K8 is saying, I used to live near Clop Hill Church. Is that I've never heard of that one. Is that I got the odd resident ghost or two, has it? There's another true well, it didn't happen to me, guys. It happened to one of the jobs I was in, this delivery guy, and I was chatting to him one day, and we got onto the subject of haunted buildings and that, and he said, like, I think he said he lived in Morton. He lived opposite this old church. And he said, oh, it's nothing. He said to hear laughter and that, in the middle of the night, he said, kids laughing and that. And you look through the window, coming from the churchyard, there's nobody there. Oh, yeah, he said, we often hear it, quite casually and that, yeah. Oh, God, send the shiver down your spine, doesn't it? Oh, yeah. When you think about it, like, life's just one big mystery, isn't it? Tony Crosby, William Castle's 13 Ghosts is a favourite. I love that one. So I've got that in the William Castle Indicator box set. Yeah, I love 13 Ghosts. Wasn't too keen on the remake though. But I love that one. Anybody like The House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price, the 1959 movie? I love that one. Excuse me. Yeah, I didn't like the remake though with Catherine Zeta-Jones. It started off all right. I think was 1999. It started off all right, but what I didn't like about that, it went to this sort of like charade of cheesy special effects and that, the bedposts and that, and faces and that all over the house. And I thought, oh God, this is great. It just went downhill. Like, it started off good, like it was lovely. The house and that massive house, and that was like an absolute castle. The house and that, it was really exaggerated and that for sort of like movie effect and that, but that ended like with their bloody special effects. No, I didn't. I much preferred the older version and that, Chestnut 7 is saying, when my stepfather died a couple of days later, there was 2 loud knocks on my bedroom door. Exactly how he would always knock scared me as I was alone in the house. I believe 100%. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, we've had strange knocks on our doors and that. We've had strange noises in the house and that. We've had, me and my mum have been downstairs watching the telly. We've heard thumps from upstairs and there's nobody up there. Oh yeah, I could go on and that. The experiences. And also, my mum, she worked in the 90s. She worked in a confectioner's on the Wirral and that, a very, very haunted shop. For instance, like all serviettes in the window and that to be flying all over the window and that there'd be nobody picking them up and that. And you get like, when they put all the pies and pasties on these big trays and that, and they put them in the oven. The tray it was nothing for the tray to be lifted up and thrown at one of the assistant's shoulders. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I believe again it was the ground it was built on. It had a bit of a reputation, for an old building and that. Yeah. So oh yeah, definitely. I definitely believe like there must be something there, like. And then there was another incident as well. My auntie told me this. A guy who works or something, he came in one morning and said, you're not going to believe what me and my girl encountered last night. And he looked at him like the jaws dropped questioningly. Oh, he said, you're not going to believe, but I'll tell you that anyway, he said. So basically what it was, him and his girl had been for a night out in Liverpool. And I think it was James Street Station. They were catching the last train home. Nobody else on the platform. There was only the couple, and there was this girl who was dressed in like a costume, a skirt suit, like 1940s and that, a costume and that, and high heels and that. And when a train pulled into the station, they got in, and the girl got into the same carriage with the couple. So he sat down and that, and the boy, he started looking round quizzically, and the girl said, "What's up with you?" Basically, and he said, "Did you see that? Did you see that girl in the costume that came in?" And she said, "I didn't see any girl." Well, the fella said he got into the carriage. No, sir, I didn't see any. And of course, there was nobody else in the carriage and that, so that was weird and that. But then again, some people have said a lot of those railway stations, Liverpool, have got the odd resident ghost or two, yeah? So that's another strange true life case. Right, just catch up with these guys. Brian Gilson, shortly after my dad passed away in 2020, me and my mum heard my dad coughing. Yeah, I can quite imagine. Like, yeah, they say they give little signs, don't they, to tell you that they're still around and that, oh yeah, I can quite imagine. We've heard all sorts of, as I say, strange things in our house. Fazbear Brothers saying, my grand's house is haunted by a cat, Jazz. Do you reckon cats come back as well? I was getting back to what I was saying before, when sometimes me and my mum have been watching the telly and we've heard the thump, like a cat jumping onto the floor, above and that, yeah. And yes, I wouldn't be surprised, like, as well, because we had a lot of cats in our time and that, it's sadly passed away in that. But I wouldn't be a bit surprised if it was one of our cats and that, yeah, coming back every now and then, because they say animals come back as well, don't they? Like, just like humans do. Ward Rutherford is saying, my dad's old local pub in Glasgow, the Bonnie Prince Charlie, had a woman cleaner assaulted and murdered in 1970. The body found in the doorway. Since then, a ghost is seen by workers after hours. Oh, really? Oh, that's quite a creepy tale, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, gosh. It just shows you, like, I mean, like, I've done a lot of research on it. As I say, I wrote this book a couple of years ago, 200 True Ghost Stories. It's also available in Kindle and that, but that's the paperback. But there's even stories that are new to me. I've never heard of, and that, so thanks very much for that. Keep them coming in. Absolutely fascinating. Richard Brown says, a few houses up from us, a woman was murdered by her husband. A few years later, a couple moved into the same house with a baby. Apparently, sometimes they couldn't get into the baby's bedroom. Oh, that's like something out of a horror movie, isn't it? A ghost movie. I've seen talking about babies. I've seen the odd ghost movie where the baby thing's gone off on its own and that, the baby monitor. Seen one or two of them in my time. Yeah, very, very creepy. Rock and Roll Hell. Clophill, yes. Wasn't that used for witchcraft, or some cult used it years ago? I live near there too. Oh, right. Richard saying they thought it was the murdered woman's ghost in the baby's bedroom. Who wouldn't be a bit surprised? You say, what's the name? Getting onto celebrity ghosts now. Bruce Forsyth. He claim his ghost is haunting the London Palladium. Yeah, I read that a couple of months ago. Yeah, the staff working there and that, and people's been on the shows. They've sensed his presence and that, and different things have happened and that. Yeah, well, they reckon, like, a lot of these dead stars that performed in these theatres, they go back just to keep an eye on things and that, and watching the show goes well and that, just to let they're still around and that, yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely fascinating subject, really is. Ward Rutherford, in the pub too, the cleaner's ghost is claimed to scratch hands and makes face prints in snow after it's been snowing. Oh, right. Look us up, very creepy. Bonnie Prince Charlie pub, East Kilbride, Glasgow. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that, Ward. Yeah, thanks very much, mate. Yeah. Sam, hang on. Sorry, guys. Sam K.A. says, yeah, I used to hear witches cackling if you walked around and at night, Clophill Church ruins. I would like to walk past that at night. It sounds a really foreboding place, that. But yeah, it just shows you, doesn't it? Like, all the people over the years that had these paranormal experiences and that, yeah, you read about them all the time, don't you? You hear about them all the time. That's the question I'd like to put to you guys. What do you think of these TV paranormal shows? There doesn't seem to be many of them now. I mean, I remember going back to the early noughties and that. There was a plethora, wasn't there? They had the American ones and that. They had Most Haunted. Oh yeah, they seem to just spring from nowhere, didn't you, all at once and that? Yeah. So yeah. So what do you think of them? Yeah, I think quite a few of them are staged, really, in that, you know, because just as if everywhere they went, the ghost would make its appearance or make sounds and that, you know. But that's just my opinion, you know. The lizard monkey, not nice to see Brucey's ghost, to see it not nice. I'm sure he liked that if he's watching. Tony Crosby, in my area, Sid James haunts Sunderland Empire Theatre. I've heard about that. Sid James, yeah. And Tommy Cooper, his ghost is supposed to haunt that theatre where he died on stage. It was Life Her Majesty's Theatre. And do you remember that night well, vividly? I was shocked, you know. I mean, I was sitting there with my family watching and that. And all of a sudden, he slumped down. I don't want to go into too much because it's a bit morbid, but after he slumped down, the adverts come on quick. And I said to my mum and dad, "Bob, that was a quick cut, wasn't it?" Well, of course, later, as it turned out, we got the sad news and that. But oh, yeah, I remember that as if it was yesterday. It was awful. That was an awful year, that, wasn't it? Because Tommy Cooper died, Diana Dawes died, Eric Morecambe, one after the other. Yeah, 1984. Awful year for deaths. And you reckon Elvis's ghost haunts Graceland, don't they? Yeah. Did you hear about that incident, guys, when you know, in 1977, when they were carrying his coffee out of sorry, I'll start again. When they were carrying his coffin out of Graceland, there was a tree in you know, in the grounds of Graceland, and all of a sudden a branch broke off and it fell to the ground, and you all witnessed that. Now, wasn't that weird? You know, it was like Elvis saying his last farewell, basically. Yeah. Oh yeah. I've heard that story a few times about that. Chestnut 77. Oh, can you imagine Sid's laughing? Oh, the dirty laugh. Yeah. Oh God, that was such an iconic aspect of the Carry On films, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh yeah. Always remember his cheeky laugh. Yeah. I love him in Bless This House as well. Fantastic actor, one of our best. Chestnut 77 is saying, I remember the Tommy Cooper one I was watching. Yeah, very, very sad. Yeah. Oh, it was awful year, that 1984, as I say, for deaths. Yeah. Tony Crosby, I was watching Tommy Cooper that night. It went straight into a break. It did so, yeah, as I said just before. And I said to my mum and dad, that went off quick, didn't it? You know, because of course it was live, wasn't it? Jimmy Tarbuck hosted it and that. And oh yeah, and of course when we got the news and that, you know, subsequently and that, you know, it was a shock, you know. The Lizard Monkey, Eric Morecambe died backstage of a summer season show. Last words, thank God that's over. Yeah, poor Eric Morecambe. I loved Eric Morecambe, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's fantastic entertainer, of course, his partner, Ernie Wise. Fazbear Brothers, I live near Stirling Castle and it's very haunted. Oh, right, yeah. There's loads of haunted places, isn't there, dotted around the UK and, you know, Scotland and Wales and that, and Ireland and that, yeah. A lot of historical places. All right, then, guys. So I'm going to have a look through my Fright Fest book now, the Ghost Movies one, and I'm going to pick out a couple of movies, and you can tell me what you think of them. This is a fantastic book, this is, guys. It really is. You know, if you love ghost movies, I highly recommend you get this fantastic book. I love it when you get these books and they're just jam packed with photographs and you know, a mine of information. Is Poltergeist. I'm not a big fan of Poltergeist, to be honest. It didn't scare me at all, but I love it. I love The Legend of Hell House. I love that one. Yeah, but yeah, it's a fantastic book. This Dead of Night, that's a good one. That's a good fun ghost movie. Blithe Spirits. That's a good one. That Blithe Spirits, yeah. Of course, The Innocents, Deborah Carr. But yeah, it's a great book, this. Buster Keaton in The Haunted House. That's one I haven't seen. You see, then. The Cat and the Canary. The House on Haunted Hill. The Great Vincent Price. Yeah, I'll go back to that again, guys. I'll just get back to the comments now. Richard Brown is saying, have you seen Shirley Ghostman's High Spirits? A spoof series of taking the pee out of most haunted. No, I haven't seen that one. Right. Kyle is saying The Amazing Mr. Blundell was a great film. I haven't seen that one, Kyle. I'll have to check that one out. Tony Crosby, Blithe Spirit with the great Margaret Rutherford. Yeah. Chestnut 7. I know you didn't like it, but The Sixth Sense creeped me out. Yeah, I wasn't too keen on that. Yeah, but again, it's one of those Marmite movies, I suppose. A lot of people like it, a lot of people loathe it, but yeah, I wasn't too keen on that one. Bazbear Brothers, any thoughts on The Cat and the Canary with Bob Hope? It was okay. It was okay. Yeah, I had it on Blu-ray. Yeah, with the Ghost Breakers and that, but I didn't keep them that. Just the one watch for me. You know, both movies. Yeah, it was okay. Nothing to rave about. Right. Ebony is saying William Castle, the producer of House on Haunted Hill, put Imago in cinemas, allowing it in the 60s. A glowing skeleton that floated above the audience. Oh yeah, he was very fond of his gimmicks, wasn't he? William Castle. Yeah, he loved doing those gimmicks and that. Yeah, the one with the tingler where he puts something in the seats and that, like electrical device and that. Yeah. Oh, he was noted for his gimmicks, William Castle. Yeah, great director. Right. Just bear with me, guys. I'm just getting comments up. Yeah, so as I say, if you've got any particular favourite ghost and paranormal films, you know, please discuss. You know, fascinating genre. You know, and favourite ghost novels and that. You know, I know there's one novel what a lot of people. Again, it's like a Marmite book, a Ghost Story by Peter Straub. And if you guys read that, I didn't like it. I didn't like the movie either. I thought it was very, very slow. And I didn't like it at all. Big, thick, chunky paperback it is. Yeah, Ghost Story. I wasn't too keen on that at all. I tell you what I do like. I've got the Fontana books of great ghost stories. I've started to collect them and that. You know, they're very good. Some like real classics in them. Richard Brown, what's about Drag Me to Help? I think you mean Drag Me to Hell, don't you, Richard? Brian Gilson, do you like High Spirits with Peter O'Toole? Haven't seen it. Sam K8, Sinister, last film to really creep me out. I only like the Sinister. I only like the first one. I didn't like the sequel. Didn't like that at all. Stacey Stevens is here. You okay, Stacey? Hi, Alan. You okay? Yeah, thanks for dropping by, Stace. Yeah. Sam K.A. Insidious, good also. Yeah, I love Insidious. I didn't like the sequel, but I like the third one. The third one was very good. Tony Crosby is saying there was a series about celebrity ghosts called Dead Famous that was an interesting series. I saw one or two of them. Yeah, quite a couple of years ago now. Yeah, don't remember too much about them and that, but I do remember them being on. Yeah, you'd have the subject sitting in the chair, wouldn't he, and talking about their experiences and that. Yeah, didn't he do a British one as well? Started off with the American, and then he done a British one. Memory serves me correctly. Right. Brian Gilson is saying, I really like William Castle's The Tingler. That's great. That one, that with Vincent Price. Yeah, it's a great movie, that. Chestnut 7 is Pluckley in Kent, where the Darling Buds of May was filmed, is meant to be notoriously haunted. Isn't that the one where they had the road accidents? There's been a lot of road accidents. Pluckley, it's a Bluebell Hill. Because I know I remember remember reading about that area. There was a particular stretch of road, a motorway. It was a Bluebell Hill. A lot of accidents occurred there and that. Yeah, is that the one you mean? Stacey's asking me, have you started reading Fairy Tale? Yeah, I haven't started yet, Stacey, but I hope to do so soon. I'm just finishing off the Ruins, you know, to see how that the ending of that compares with the movie. And once I finish the Ruins, I'll start Fairy Tale, and I most probably do a review of it, you know, once I've read it. The Lizard Monkey is saying, for me, nothing beats the scares and creepiness of the 1960s to 70s M.R. James adaptations. The first, Whistle and I'll Come to You. Yeah, it's a terrifying even now. Watch it. That's my favourite one. Yeah, as I said before, oh, Whistle and I'll Come to You, my lad. I love the TV adaptation, and I love the original story by M.R. James. Oh, it's real cool, that. The way he finds this antiquated flute on the beach and that, and he takes it back to his lodgings and that. And well, of course, we you know, if you've seen it, you know what happens in that with the apparition. That's one of the greatest ghost stories ever written, that. Kyle's saying most haunted TV series with the late Derek Acora was always a good, well, I presume you mean watch, yeah. Yeah, Derek Acora come from my neck of the woods, yeah. Saw him a couple of years ago doing a book signing in, you know, the old W.H. Smiths in Church Street and that, yeah. I've read a couple of his books as well. Walk on always, Bill. Alan, you're live. Yeah, yippee, I hope you're okay. Yeah, I'm great, thanks, yeah. Hope you are as well, yeah. Yeah, thanks for dropping by. Yeah, so get back to this other book, guys. This big chunky book, Ghosts. As I say, thickest book I've ever had in my life. I'll just read you the blurb at the back. So I won't read it you all. I'll just read a bit of it. Take a journey to the world beyond. Visit hundreds of haunted places around the world. Learn how to make contact with the other side. Read about ghostly manifestations of all kind, from phantoms to poltergeists, and learn about the scientific investigations that have uncovered and authenticated them. See rare, genuine photographs of ghosts and spirits, and find out how these apparitions were captured on film. So there you go, guys. If you love ghosts, I'm sure they're still available. This on Amazon and now on eBay. Get yourself a copy of this. As I say, it's one of the thickest, if not the thickest books on ghosts I've ever had. I'm just going to show you guys the just how many stories are in this. Just maneuvering it so that the camera can capture it, guys. That's the first page, and then you've got all them as well, guys. Sorry about the glare. I've got the ring light on. So there you go. All them. And again, there's more there. Yeah. So as I say, if you're interested in ghosts and paranormal and things that go bump in the night, you could do no worse than get yourself a copy of this. Yeah, by Hans Holzer, very famous name in the world of paranormal research. Yeah. So yeah, quite as I say, quite a doorstopper of a book. Right, back to the comments. Right. Tony Crosby is saying the remake of Poltergeist is one of the worst remakes I've seen. Yeah, I've seen that. I didn't like it. So I echo your views. You know, 100%. So, Fazbear Brother says, did you like the film The Haunting? I like the original, as I said before, with Richard Johnson in. I like the original, yeah, but I wasn't too keen on the remake, you know, it had the cheesy special effects in. But I love The Haunting. I've got it on Blu-ray at the HMV, you know, the HMV Premium range and that, yeah. But yeah, I did not like that awful remake. I love the book as well by Shirley Jackson. Chestnut 7 is saying, no, Pluckley is a village, not Bluebell Hill, but I know that place is haunted too. Yeah. Walk on always believe. The Uninvited 2009, is that class as a ghost horror, or is it just a horror where a girl imagines it? That's a great one, that. I suppose, yeah, it's a funny movie, that. It's got a great twist, hasn't it? Yeah, I love that movie. I watched it, excuse me. I watched that many times. I would not part with that. I wouldn't say sell that like I would, you know, stay in my collection. I love that movie, but I suppose you could look on as a kind of paranormal movie, but it's more of a kind of a psychological thriller. There's another movie as well, guys. I don't know if you're familiar with the one with Ray Milland in. That was also called The Uninvited. Was it 1948 or 47? I didn't care for that at all. That was supposed to be this big house and that the country's supposed to be haunted and that, but it didn't have barely a semblance of a ghost story. I didn't like that, but I loved that one, that modern one. Brian Gilson is saying The Devil Rides Out is a really good, and The Horror Hotel film, Christopher Lee, is creepy. Both fantastic movies, yeah. 10 out of 10 for both, yeah. Sam K.A. says, watch The Others the other day, cracking ghost film that. It's great, The Others, isn't it? Yeah, one of my all-time favourite haunted house movies, that. I love The Others, yeah. I tell you guys, it's not really a full length. Well, it's like a segment of a horror anthology story about this woman. A son dies in a drowning accident, and it was in the anthology movies made for TV, the one starring Karen Black, and she does this occult ritual and she brings him back, or she thinks he comes back, but he's not really a son. That's a good one. That's a great one. Yeah, it's called Bobby, that one. That's a great one if you want to check that one out. Yeah, they've done a remake as well in a subsequent adaptation, and that. Oh, that's really creepy, that one. Yeah, definitely check that one out. It's a great one. A Trilogy of Terror, I believe the movie's called. Richard Brown, Ghost Story was an ironic title, as it wasn't a ghost story. It was a horror novel, but the main protagonists tell each other ghost stories. Yeah, the Chowder Society, wasn't it? Didn't like that at all. You know, I hate that. Like when you go into a movie or a book and you're full of expectations. Oh, rub your hands, I'm in for a cracking read here. But when you actually watch the movie or read the book and you come away feeling, oh, I've just wasted so many hours of my life, you know, with that. You know, it's a big letdown, really. Walk on Always Believe is saying, glad you're well, Alan. I'm okay, thanks. So that's good to hear. Today at my local market, they had an offer on DVDs. Fill a blue market bag for £1, came back with around 40, mostly horror. Oh, that's great, that. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed them. Yeah, I love that when they have the deals on. You know, you come away like with a bag full of DVDs and Blu-rays. You can't beat it. Any of you guys here like the Ring movies? Do you prefer the ones with what's her name in? The blonde girl in? What's her name? Naomi Watts, or do you prefer the original Japanese movies, or do you like both? Let me know. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of them. Yeah, but I do prefer the American ones. Tony Crosby saying, I can't recall if Hammer ever done a ghost movie. Comes to think of it, yeah, I'm just trying to think. Now, did he do a ghost movie? I don't think he did, you know. Well, I don't think Hammer did actual haunted house, you know, a ghost movie in that. Because he done the vampire movies, didn't he? All the Frankenstein and the he done the Devil Rides Out and that. But yeah, I don't think. Oh, I'd say Modern Hammer. They done the Woman in Black, didn't they? That's like the Modern Hammer. You know, the one with Daniel Radcliffe in. Yeah. So there's an example of a Hammer. Although it's not the old Hammer, obviously it's the new Hammer. Yeah, the Woman in Black. Good ghost story. I love the novel as well by Susan Hill. Ebony is saying Strawberry Fields in Liverpool as ghosts of the children who were homes there in the wall garden. Oh, right. Yeah, made famous by John Lennon, Strawberry Fields Forever. There was a live radio ghost hunt in 1982 that recorded children's laugh. Oh, right. I didn't know that. That's absolutely fascinating, that. Yeah, I like that song, Strawberry Fields Forever. Yeah, yeah. Didn't he make it release in 1967 or thereabouts? Yeah. Yeah, Strawberry Fields. Yeah, all right. Oh, yeah, Liverpool. I mean, I've read loads and loads of books about the ghosts of Liverpool and that, you know, and Chester as well. I've got a great one on Chester. I was only out there the other day in Chester. Yeah, picked up 2 movies, 2 4Ks, Demons and Alien. Yeah, but oh yeah, Chester's got like a reputation that's of being a very Roman city. You know, Roman soldiers, and that ghosts of Roman soldiers have been seen there. And also, there's supposed to be a very, very haunted chocolate shop where a girl from the 19th century is supposed to throw boxes of chocolates all around the shop. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely fascinating. I think Most Haunted went there. I'm sure they went there to do a show. Sure did. I know they came to Birkenhead, to Hamilton Square, the town hall and that, and Bidston Hill. Yeah. Right. Let's get the comments, guys. Chestnut 7 is saying, as children, my younger sister came flying downstairs looking scared and said she saw a hooded figure walk through our bathroom and disappeared. Oh my God. Oh God, that will put the willies up you, wouldn't it? Oh. Tell you what, guys, that when I first read that story, The Amityville Horror by Jay Anson, God, it scared the crap out of me. That first read it when it came out in you know, in the 70s and that, and I actually thought all that happened and that, you know, maybe there was 1 or 2 incidents in the house, and maybe they capitalized on it, you know, exaggerated and that, embellished it. But that part where he said that when they were fleeing, he seen that they saw the devil coming down the stairs and that, and then the marching band and that, and then the pig said at the window, yeah, oh yeah. But then of course when I read subsequently there were suggestions it could have been sort of like sexed up, you know, for publicity purposes. I don't know. I don't really know the full facts about that, so don't quote me on that. But oh yeah, that Amityville horror. When I first read it, I borrowed it from the local library. It scared the crap out of me. The incidents in it. Edward's saying, have you ever seen the 1989 version of The Woman in Black? The 1989 one, the TV, yeah, the TV film, Edward, yeah, that was the one I was saying before. It's got the mother of all jump scares. Yeah, it's a great one. That I got that on Blu-ray a couple of months ago. I love that, and I love the Daniel Radcliffe, the Hammer movie. Yeah, love both. I think they're great. I think they're great adaptation to the Susan Hill novel. Yeah, I love The Woman in Black. I didn't like the sequel though. It was terrible sequel. Walk On Always Believe is saying, yes, Uninvited is great, especially the kitchen scene. Uninvited is actually a remake of Tale of Two. It is, yeah, a remake of the Tale of Two Sisters, which is okay-ish, but nowhere near as good as the Uninvited 2009, in my opinion. I totally agree with you. I've seen the Tale of Two Sisters and I didn't like it at all. It was boring, really boring. But the Uninvited, the American, oh, that's a great one. That it really is. I loved, you know, you actually thought, didn't you, that the sister was really there? You know, oh yeah, it's a great one. That, yeah, real good, well written story. Yeah. Fazbear Brothers. I like The Ring in 2002. Yeah, yeah. The worst Ring movie for me was Rings, the third one. You know, the third American one where he sort of like brought us all up to date, where she was on the internet and that. Yeah, I didn't like that one at all. Fazbear Brothers. Did you like The Grudge made in 2004? Yeah, it was okay. It's okay. Walk On Always Believe. I like both Grudge franchises, the Japanese and the American. I find the Japanese one more creepy. The Japanese have a great way of making creepy horrors. Yeah. I don't find the Americans creepy, but I prefer them. Japanese have made quite a few good creepy horror movies, but the only thing, of course, it's a bit of a pain having to read the subtitles and that. But yeah, I would agree with you. There's been some real and movies with many layers as well to those Japanese, you know, those Japanese productions. Yeah. Richard Brown, what about The Man Who Haunted Himself? Oh, what about The Man Who Haunted Himself? That's one of my all-time favorite movies. Yeah, I love that one. Roger Moore, the doppelganger. Yeah, Pelham. I love that one. Spoke about it many times on my channel. Never get tired of watching it. Roger Moore is really on the money, playing the tormented Mr. Pelham, who he suspects like he's either going nuts or he's got he might have a doppelganger. It's a great movie. He also done one in Hitchcock. Alfred Hitchcock Presents. They done, which is nowhere near as good as the Roger Moore one. They've done a version of that called A Strange Case of Mr. Pelham, but I love that one. I've got the Blu-ray of it. I haven't listened to the commentary yet with Roger Moore. So when I next put it on, I'll have the commentary on Roger Moore. I love that one, The Man Who Haunted Himself. Yeah, one of my all-time favorites. It's right up there with And Soon the Darkness, you know, and The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, all my all-time favorite classics. Oh yeah, I love The Man Who Haunted Himself. Roger Moore, I believe, is one of his favorite movies as well, if not his favorites. Tony Crosby, I watched Most Haunted once, and you could see someone's arm throwing a spoon, and I couldn't believe the fake reactions. Yeah, very well constructed, that show, isn't it? He went to some creepy places though, didn't he? Sam K.A. thought Grave Encounter. I think I've seen that one. Yeah, I'm not sure if I was fussy on that one a couple of years ago. Like, that the one where he goes to the big asylum, big cavernous asylum. Brian Gilson says, have you read the book about the Enfield Poltergeist? It's a great book. I've got it here somewhere. Hang on a sec. Here we go, guys. This house is haunted. Yeah. The story of the Enfield Poltergeist. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Here you go. There's the back, guys. The amazing inside story of the Enfield Poltergeist, and what a chilling read it is. Yeah, I've got the DVD TV play as well of that. Yeah, it's great, fascinating story. And that, you know, I mean, like all the people that witnessed that haunting, you know, in the 70s and that. Oh yeah, real one of the best true ghost stories I've ever read and watched. Yeah, love the Enfield Poltergeist story. And while we're on the subject of haunted true haunted places, here's another one I'm fascinated with: the haunting of Borley Rectory, which is supposed to be one of the most haunted houses in Britain. I've got the encyclopedia here, the Borley Rectory Companion. Now this tells you every single thing about the case, you know, the definitive guide to the most haunted house in England and that. And this is a great one, this, guys. If you're interested in the haunting of Borley Rectory, you need to add this book to your collection. Yeah, it's a fantastic book. Oh yeah, it's just absolute mine of information. It really is, you know. So that's that one. And of course, this house is haunted and that. So two cracking books there on you know, two cracking you know, good ghost stories. Right, I'll just catch up with the comments, guys. Sam K.A. I thought Grave Encounters was good, but the main geezer was annoying, right? One thing I can't stand is annoying character in a horror movie, and I watched many of them in my time. I had to do a video one day, the 10 most annoying characters of the horror movies. That lad got a bit of a reputation, didn't he? In the House by the Cemetery, mommy. Yeah, he got a lot of stick for that, didn't he? That little blonde lad. Yeah. Walk on, always believe. My cousin Mark passed away in 2012, and 6 days later, I heard Mark's voice saying, "Look after your old man. Look after your old man." My brother was in the garden. We ran to Dad, and we both said, "Dad, we just heard our Mark." Yeah, I couldn't quite believe it. You know, I mean, as I say, people have had experiences for years and years, haven't they? You know, I think there definitely must be something there. There must be, you know, I mean, all the incidents we've had in our house, and members of my family have had incidents as well, and that. And as I was saying about the guy on the railway station and that, and then the cake shop where my mum worked and that, and then of course, as I say, other things as well. You know, it's definitely something. We just don't exactly know what the true nature of it. Right. Fazbear Brothers, do you like the film the Others made in 2000? Yeah, spoke about that before. The one with Nicole Kidman in, it's a great one. That great twist as well. Love the Others. Yeah, it's a great little story. Another big favourite of mine is The Innocents. You know, based on the novel The Turn of the Screw, the one starring Deborah Carr, where she goes to look after the two children. You know, in this big country house and that. That's a great one. That I'd love to get the Criterion Blu-ray of that, but it's quite expensive at the moment. But oh yeah, I love The Innocents. I think that's one of the greatest ghost stories ever written. Very redolent with atmosphere, you know, and creepiness. Yeah, I love that story. Sam K.A. is saying, also, your thoughts on Paranormal Activity? Your thoughts on the Paranormal Activity franchise? I recently watched the newest one on Paramount Plus. Thought it was okay, better than most of them. Yeah, as you've just seen by me, rather disapproving gesture. Not a fan. Not a fan of found footage movies in general. You know, so yeah, try to get into them. Too much talk in them. Too much like documentaries and that. So yeah, I won't be watching the rest of them. Right, Rock and Roll Hell says, there's a supernatural thigh horror called Shutter that I highly recommend. Yeah, I've got the American version in my collection. There's a crap US. I quite liked it. There's a crap US remake, of course, but I wouldn't bother with that one. I've got it in my collection, but I haven't seen the original thigh one. If that's available on Blu-ray, I might order that, because I like comparing you know, Japanese movies to American movies and so forth and that, and comparing books to movie adaptations and that. So I might check that out. Yeah, so let me know if it's available on Blu-ray or even DVD. Richard Brown is saying, got any Colin Wilson books on the occult and the supernatural? I've got what was often described as the occult Bible, the occult and beyond the occult, yeah, and mysteries. I did have mysteries years ago, but I might get that again. I think I gave it away to someone or so, or many years ago. I had mysteries, but he's great, Colin Wilson, isn't he? Yeah, I love that one, the occult and that. That's supposed to be the absolute Bible of the supernatural. Yeah. James Herbert, the great horror writer, God rest his soul, he described the occult as a paranormal Bible. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love Colin Wilson. Ward is saying to Richard Brown, Supernature is the definitive book. I've heard of that one. I love Colin Wilson's work. Yeah, he's a great writer. I've got the Colin Wilson one. I've got the one with it. He wrote about poltergeists. I've got that in my collection. Yeah, all different poltergeist cases over the years. Oh, they're nasty ghosts, aren't they? Those poltergeists chucking things around and that. They do put the fear of God in you then. You just basically just pick things up and throw them, don't they? Very, very often associated with the adolescent girls, aren't they? You know, poltergeists. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That Enfield one was a real creepy case. It really was. Then there's another one, isn't there? The Bell Witch poltergeist. Yeah, happened many years ago. The John Bell. He made a movie of it, didn't he? With Donald Sutherland in American Haunting. That's a real creepy one, that. Yeah. She puts a curse on him, doesn't she? Is there something to do with land or something? She puts a curse on his family, the Bell Witch. Oh, that's a real creepy one, that. Edward's saying, what's your thoughts on the paranormal activity? As I've just said, or just gestured. Don't like him. Don't like him at all. I say I'm not a big fan of found footage. Right, Walk On Always Believe is saying, I just want to say, Alan, your streams are great. Oh, thanks very much, mate. Yeah, appreciate it, and thanks for tuning in. You're a great host. Oh, thank you. I do my best. Nervous as hell when I first started, though. You're fun, you're friendly, and your love for horror bursts on screen. It's nice seeing others who love horror like myself. Horror is best. Yeah. I agree with you, of course. I can't understand, you know. I was watching a YouTuber the other night, and he said like about the way some of these bookstores are casting horror to sort of like the back burner. What they're doing away with the horror section. You know, like one time you go into your bookstore and you see a big section devoted to horror, wouldn't you? All the paperbacks and that. James Herbert, Stephen King. But when you go in now, it's mixed in with fantasy and a thriller, you know, and I think that's wrong. I mean, if any of you bookstore managers are watching this, get the horror back out on the shelves and categorize it so the horror fans can go right to it instead of, you know, shoving it to the back burner and regarding it as trivial. A lot of people like horror, love horror. So I think it's disgusting the way some of these bookstores are treating horror. You know, I mean, even some of the even larger ones and that you go into, there's hardly any horror titles and that. You've got to really look for them. You put them in like with the Silence of the Lambs thrillers and that, and it's sort of like this that sort of like blurred line, isn't there? You know, but yeah, get the horror back into its own category. You know, because you know you're annoying a lot of us horror fans. So I hope some of these bookstores are watching these managers and say, yeah, we'll do that. We'll get the horror back. You know, we'll give it the category it used to have on its own and that, because it used to be a great treat going to the bookstores and going to the horror section, seeing all the paperbacks and that. So yes, I don't know why they're doing that. You know, if anybody here works in a bookstore and likes to enlighten me on that, I'd be very, very interested. So annoying. Right. Richard Brown is saying, have you seen the Borley Rectory film? I've seen a couple of movies, Richard, about Borley Rectory, and I haven't liked them. You know, they've been very, very low budgets, and one was like a surreal kind of thing, and that was these ones with you go from like one scene to another, like they're in a dream and that. You know, I didn't like that one. And then one with an American serviceman in, had nothing to do with, scarcely anything at all to do with the original Borley Rectory. Yeah, so yeah, I haven't been impressed. I'm still waiting for somebody to make a really good Borley Rectory movie, you know, really study it and that, you know, research it and that. It's like this, they could start with this book, The Borley Rectory Companion. There's a mine of information in here. The dates and everything are all in here, you know, all in chronological order and that, and everybody that was involved in the case. So they could start with this and that. I think they'd make a really good movie. They'd put their mind to it. But yeah, up to now, I haven't been impressed by the Borley Rectory movies, I'm sorry to say. Chestnut Step 7 is saying there must be something in the Amityville house. after 6 people were murdered there. Yeah, the fella in 1974, wasn't it? Yeah, he went off his head, didn't he? Basically gunned his family down as he slept. Yeah, so yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Yeah, he DeFeo, wasn't it? Was it Ronald DeFeo? Yeah, that's good. Spawned a lot of sequels, that, hasn't it? That Amityville franchise and that, they're just basically using the name now. Amityville in Space, Amityville Dollhouse and that, Amityville Exorcist and that. Yeah, oh, they're running that, milking that well dry or ice. Tony Crosby's saying, I would love to spend the night in a dead celebrity's house like Joe Meek, Keith Moon, and Graceland. Yeah. And your £1,000,000 at the end of the night if you last out the night. Yeah. That's like the house on Haunted Hill, Vincent Price, where he has all those people in. They got to last out the night, haven't they? In that, yeah. But we all know what happened. If you've seen the movie, we all know we all know how it panned out, don't we? Ward Rutherford is saying The Conjuring 2 is a take on the Enfield Poltergeist. Yeah. Cheesy Hollywood stuff with some great moments. I agree. Yeah. I did prefer the first Conjuring. The second one was okay, but after that, didn't like that last one at all. Walk On Always Believe is saying there's definitely something, whether it's a spirit or a ghost. Yeah, I believe in a lot of stuff, but I don't believe that ghosts have their chains on and stuff. Yeah, that's just stereotypical image, isn't it? It's like Satan with the red suit on and the horns. That's a stereotype. What's been perpetuated right through the centuries, hasn't it? The stereotypical ghostly figure, with the white sheet on and the howling chains. Go, ooh. You know what I mean, don't you? That's a stereotypical image of a ghost, isn't it? The typical Halloween fun ghost and that. But yeah, I think there's something much more to it than that. I've often wondered about the afterlife. I was only saying to my mum today, I mean, if just say there is an afterlife, what did you do up there for entertainment? Have you got discos? Have you got pubs? Do they eat? Can you watch television? You wonder all these things, don't you? You can't help but wonder. And if you say, all right, if there's an afterlife, what exactly? Surely they're not sitting on a cloud all the time with a harp and that, in a white robe. I can't imagine that. Some of these near-death experiences, what people have had, they're quite interesting. Raymond Moody in 1975, he wrote a book called Life After Life. And it's based on hundreds of cases of people who died and had gone to heaven, had gone down this tunnel and they'd come out in a lovely garden with all people dressed in white and that and young looking. I mean, I've always, that's something saying about touching on the subject of youthful spirits. Whenever I've dreamt about my dad or any other people that's passed away, they've always been youthful. They've been youthful in my dreams, never been old and that, or sick when he first passed away. They've always been youthful. And they do say, don't they, when you die, you go back to about 30 or 25 and that. Be nice that, wouldn't it? Yeah. But yeah, you wonder, don't you? What do you do in the afterlife? What did he do for entertainment? Yeah. Always wondered that. Always wondered it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Since the Raymond Moody book was written in 1975, Elizabeth Moss, that's another one. Is it Elizabeth Kubler-Moss? She's wrote 1 or 2 books on life after death, near-death experiences and that. And people, it's like, like actual reports from doctors and nurses who've been by the bedside of a dying patient, and they've had this sort of radiant look comes over their faces when they've seen dead relatives who passed away years and years and years ago. Even young children grown up and that, come to take them into the other. Oh, it's fascinating. Go on about that. It's really fascinating subject on that, but I would like to think if there is another world, it's better than this crappy one what we're in. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure many would agree, though, how crap this world is. Right, Brian Gilson, do you like Dark Water? It's a spooky film, but also has a sad ending. I've seen the American version. Wasn't too keen on it, but I haven't seen the foreign one. I'll have to check the foreign one out. Rock and Roll Hell is saying Shutter is available on DVD. Yeah, there's a region 1 DVD that's decent. Unsure there's a UK release though. I'll check that out. Yeah, thanks very much for that. Just have a quick swig, guys. But oh yeah, I mean, I say a lot of those Japanese foreign movies, like they're better than the American English ones, aren't they? My favorite, so I suppose, like a lot of you guys would agree with me on this, my all-time favorite ghost story is A Christmas Carol by the late great Charles Dickens. I love the concept of that. I love the way Scrooge's character changes You know, he's at the start, he's a mean old skinflint, isn't he? And all you hear from is humbug, bah, humbug, humbug, humbug. And of course, when he has the visitations by the three ghosts, Christmas past, present, and future, he becomes a reformed character, doesn't he? I love that story, A Christmas Carol. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, there's been many fine adaptations over the years of that. Love A Christmas Carol. Edward's saying, have you seen the movie Ghost Ship? Yeah, I've got it. Yeah. Are you talking about? Oh, are you talking about the one with where it starts off with they're all it's like they're having it's like a cabaret. There's a girl singing, isn't on the stage and that, and then something happens to the ship and that. Yeah, I've seen that one. There's also another one called with George Kennedy and called Death Ship. That's pretty similar to Ghost Ship. The again, you have like a maritime accident, a calamity at sea, and the survivors see this ship from years ago, from World War II, and he board it and that. There's nobody on board. It's a great movie, Death Ship. If you haven't seen it, guys, check it out. There's nobody on board the ship, and you hear this like weird crackling over the airwaves, German voices from years ago. It's great. Ghost Ship, Death Ship. Yeah, but they're both great movies, Ghost Ship and Death Ship. Fazbear Brothers, any thoughts on Blair Witch? I hated it. Did not like that movie at all. I do not like found footage, and I blame that movie for spawning the superfluity of found footage, what we have to suffer today. Did not like that Blair Witch at all. Very overrated movie. Walk On, Always Believe. There's an understated film I recommend, Alan, Stay Alive. It's a different supernatural horror. Friends play a computer game, and if they die in the game, they die in real life. Oh, right. In the same way as the game. Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I've heard that one. Right. I'll just have a quick look through me Ghost Movies book, guys, to see if we can get stimulate some more conversation. There's the great story, Whistle and I'll Come to You, my lad, starring Michael Hordern. There it is. I'm trying to get, there it is, guys. It's like the golden shot, this. Up a bit, left a bit, right a bit. Now, can you see? There it is. There's Michael Hordern, the guy who finds the flute on the beach from the Ghost Stories for Christmas. Yeah. There's one I haven't seen, guys. The Snow Woman. That looks pretty interesting. The Snow Woman. Oh, this is a great book, this, guys. Well, all these Fright Fest guide books are great, and that if you love your horror, you know, you could do no worse than get these books out of your collection. They're great, yeah. The Stone Tape. Let's Scare Jessica to Death. That's a good one. Let's Scare Jessica to Death. You can see that. The Turn of the Screw, as I said before. The Innocents. There's Deborah Carr. There's the nanny, goes to look after the two children. And yeah, I suppose this was a kind of a ghost story, wasn't it? The one with Clint Eastwood in 1973, High Plains Drifter. That was a kind of a ghost story, wasn't it? Love that movie. Yeah, there's voices there. Burnt Offerings, that's a good. Well, hang on, I'm getting confused there. Another one. No, that's not so good. That Burnt Offerings. I was thinking of another one. Yeah, there's the Signal Man with Denholm Elliott. There he is, the Signal Man. Great one. Full Circle. Haven't seen that one. Mia Farrow. That's a great one. The Sentinel. That's a great one. That. There's a Hong Kong, Singapore movie, The Eye. Anybody seen that one, The Eye? Right, so I'll go back to that again in a minute, guys. I'll just get back to the comments now. See if that stimulated any more, topics of discussion. Ward Rutherford, the black and white photos of the newbie ghost and the backseat car ghost of Mrs. Chinnery remains scarier than most full movies. They were always in 80s ghost books, creepy as heck. Yeah, I think I've seen that one, the car ghost. Yeah, that is creepy. That has anybody seen that? That haunted eBay painting where they have like the hand, is it called the hands of something? And it's supposed to be cursed and that, and you're not supposed to look at it and that, but for you know, for a great length of time. I've read a few cases about that, you know, the haunted eBay painting. Yeah, yeah, but I don't remember that. It's something, the hands of something. Yeah, if anybody can enlighten me on the full title of that, but that's quite a creepy story. Yeah. Oh yeah, when you think about it, like there's been some real, you know, unnerving true life, you know, ghost stories, hasn't there, over the years, you know. Walk on always believe. I agree, Alan. For example, HMV now is more like a supermarket rather than media films. Yeah, there's less films now. Now it's sweets, toys, and here in Maryhill, our HMV store has a horror section, and it's tiny. It's ridiculous, isn't it? You know, absolutely ridiculous the way these stores and these you know, record stores and bookstores are scaling down the horror. What the hell's wrong with them? There's thousands of people love horror. They've got a, you know, an incessant appetite for horror. You know, and we've had horror right from the biblical days, haven't we? It's always been with us. There's been some pretty gruesome horror stories in the Bible. You know, I think that was the very first horror book. You know, some really, really gruesome tales in the Bible. You know, but so I don't understand it why they've got this sort of like aversion, this unjustified aversion to horror. You know, what the hell's wrong with them? Richard Brown is saying Insidious or Sinister franchise. Well, regarding Insidious, I like the first movie and the third one. And regarding Sinister, I only like the one. I didn't like the sequel. It was a terrible movie. Richard Brown, the photo of the charred leg left after spontaneous combustion always freaks me out. I don't think I've seen that one. Walk on, always believe. Hey, Alan, I can kind of prove in a way that we have lived another life. Shall I share this? Shall I share this? I'm confident most people agree. Yeah, fire away. Yeah, yeah. Be very interested to hear, you know, what you've got to say. Cheers. Tony is saying, my dad had a great book in the 80s called Photographs of the Unknown or Paranormal. Oh, that sounds a good one. Yeah, yeah. I used to rent a lot of those books out when I was in my local library, you know, true ghost stories and that, and true cases of the supernatural. Absolutely loved them. Also, along with the horror books, you know, on the horror movies and that. Yeah, oh, there's some great ones in our local library. Sam KA is asking me, how long are you on for, Alan? Well, I think I'm going to go on till about my usual time, about 2.5 hours. I think that's about right. You know, it's about right time, right duration to be on in that. Yeah, so I came on at 8, so 8 to 9. Yeah, so I'll go up about 10:30 if that's okay. So plenty of time yet to get your questions in, guys. Sam K8, one missed call or pretty good Asian horrors. Yeah, I have to check those out. Walk on, always believe. It says, here's proof. Have you been somewhere that feels very similar? Have you been on a road you've never been on, or in a town you've never been to, and when you got there, you know, someplace there's, I think, yeah, I know what you mean, like deja vu. Walk on, always believe we was there in our past lives. Yeah, you could be right if you believe in reincarnation. I've got an open mind about reincarnation. I haven't really read into too much about reincarnation. It's mostly ghosts and afterlife I've read into. I haven't really read into much about reincarnation, but I take your points. Yeah. I suppose, like, if everybody had the choice who'd you like to come back as, you most probably want to come back as, like, say, somebody like Elvis, or, you know, great people like, you know, this sort of like made history and that, you know. I suppose, like, if you'd have the choice of who would you like to come back as, yeah. Brian is saying, have you heard of the haunting of Berkeley Square? Yeah, I think it's in the I think it's in one of my ghost books. That 3 men spent a night in the house. One went insane, another jumped out of the window. Oh, right. Simon Film Fan. Hi there, Alan. Have you seen Ghost Ship with Hazel Court? Hazel Court. Ghost Ship with Hazel Court. That's the girl that's been in the Hammer films, isn't it? I don't think I've seen one with Hazel Court in, but I've seen the Ghost Ship one where as I say, it starts off with the girls singing like cabaret, like it's got like a cabaret on the ship. And then when it sort of like sinks in that, there's all ghosts on the hulk, isn't there? And then I've seen the one Death Ship with George Kennedy, but I don't think I've seen that one with Hazel Course. I'll have to check that out. I love Hazel Course. Sam K8 is saying watched House of Wax the other day, one with Paris Hilton in a first watch since its release. I've actually enjoyed it. I haven't seen that remake for ages, so don't really know too much about it. But I'll have to check that one out. I love the original one with Vincent Price, and that's a great movie. That Tony Crosby, To Walk On Always Believe. I always think my past life was in the Victorian music halls, as I feel very much comfortable in music and decor. Yeah. You just reminded me of the good old days. I used to watch that avidly in the 70s, and that, he set up, reenacted the Victorian music halls and that. And he had great stars on, like sort of Ken Dodd and people like that. I used to love watching the good old days. And the fella with the hammer, Andrew Sachs, this what they used to say, this time chiefly yourselves. And he had the little hammer, he slammed the little hammer, wouldn't he, on the desk and that. Yeah, I used to love that, the good old days. Yeah. Simon, film fan. How about Umberto Lenzi's Ghost House with a little girl in it? That's the one I've got. I've got that one. Umberto Lenzi's Ghost House. He had a little girl and a doll, the Raggedy Doll. Yeah, great film that. Larry Fleetwood says the supernatural episodes, of which there were not enough, of Brian Clemens' thriller were almost my favourites. Yeah, one springs to mind right away. One Deadly Owner, starring Donna Mills, The Haunted Car. I love that one. That's a great one, that. Yeah. And also, while we're on the subject of horror TV series, what about that one in the Hammer House of Horror, where the fella comes to a house in the middle of the night, doesn't he? Knocking on the door, demanding to see her husband and that. And she shoots him. She becomes terrified, and she shoots him, and he starts haunting her, or she thinks he's haunting her. That's a great one. That's a real creepy one. Yeah. Got a very supernatural ending as well. Genuinely supernatural, let me tell you. Simon, film fan, says, does HMB Liverpool have a good horror section? Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. My nearest was Southport, and it closed down. Yeah, we used to have a HMB in Birkenhead, and it closed down. Yeah, I hate it, when shops you've been you've frequented in for years and that, you've gone to get your favorite movies and that, they suddenly close down. Hate it. I hate to hear of store closures. I'm very much a physical media person. I'm not really a great stream. I do stream movies, but I'm not a great fan of streaming. I think it poses a danger to us people that like collecting movies and that, and cramming our shelves with all our favorite movies. It's a bloody nuisance, that streaming. It really is. So let's hope what's happening now, it was at Netflix, they're sort of like losing subscribers. Let's hope that trend continues and that, because it might have a rebound effect on people buying physical media. People might start increasing their spending again on physical media. So fingers crossed, physical media doesn't go away. It actually increases again in popularity. Right. Ward Rutherford, Night Gathering, had some cracking ghost tales. Yeah, I'm watching that right now. Ward, I'm watching season 2. It's some of the stories a bit iffy, but yeah, I enjoy those ghost ones. Yeah. Telly Savalas, getting back to true ghost stories. Have you heard the one about Telly Savalas where I don't remember the full details of a story, but it's something about he picked a fella up or something late night on the road or something, and was it when he went to a service station? He asked him for a lift and that, and he vanished or something. It's either a fella or a woman. I don't remember. I'll have to revisit that case. Telly Savalas, yeah, he often told a story, and apparently it was a ghost. Yeah, a ghostly passenger. Yeah, but I have to read up more on that. The Telly Savalas one. Brian's saying, have you seen the film Lost Voyage with Lance Henriksen? It's about a ship that comes back from the Bermuda Triangle. He takes the news crew and a paranormal investigator on board. I haven't seen that one, Brian. I'll have to check that one out. Yeah, sounds good. He's made quite a few movies, Lance Henriksen, hasn't he, in his time? Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. I'll tell you what's a good ghost story, although it's quite an old one. I think it was made in, was it 1960 or 61? Tormented. Yeah, something about it's either his wife or his girlfriend. She dies and that, and she haunts him. She comes back to haunt him and that. I think he's having an affair, I think. doesn't he kill it? I think he kills her or something. She comes back to haunt him. Yeah, tormented. Yeah, at the moment, like the versions are very, very poor quality because I got the DVD about 2 years ago in a very, very poor quality, but they've since released it only just released it on Blu-ray. The imprint, I think it's imprints and that, but I'm not sure what the picture quality is like. So yeah, so watch out for that one. Tormented. It's a great little ghost story. Simon Filmfan says the Hazel Court ghost ship is where she and her husband buy an old ship and restore it and ignore the warnings that it's haunted. I'll have to check that out. I'll be looking on Amazon later on for that. See if I can get myself a copy. I've definitely not seen that one. No, I'll have to check that. I say I love Hazel Court. Thanks for that, Simon. Yeah, I'll check that one out. Richard Brown, have you seen nor the sea nor neither the, yeah, I think you mean neither the sea nor the sand, don't you? Yeah, I've got that one on DVD. Yeah, it's quite good. Yeah. Picture quality is not really brilliant, but of course it was made and it's from a TV, a BBC. I think it was BBC TV adaptation. Yeah, well, hopefully they might give it a Blu-ray release. But yeah, it's not a bad little TV movie. Brian Gilson saying Night Gallery season 3 is coming out in November on Blu-ray, and I'll get that because I'll have the trilogy then. Although I must admit the stories in season 2 they're not as good as in season 1, but with me being a complete system, I do love Rod Serling. I will add that one. I'll have the trilogy then. You see, because I haven't watched all the special features yet. But on the first one and season 2, so I've got to watch all the special features because I love watching special features. I don't just buy movies and watch them and that's it. I love watching all the special features because I love hearing all the anecdotes about how the movie was made, all the little anecdotes and that incidents on the set. I love all that. Yeah, that's why I used to get all the movie books from the library and that, and magazines and that, and how films are made and that, and the people, little stories and that about the actors and that. I love all that. Richard Brown, my mistake, it's neither the sea nor the sand. That's the one. Yeah, that's on Amazon now as well. It's a stream. Tony Crosby says the atmosphere in a graveyard on a night is absolutely weird. My mum and dad lived next over the road from one and visited one night. Oh yeah, you couldn't participate in a more creepy activity, could you? Visiting a graveyard in the dead, in the dead of night. Yeah, don't think I could do it. Shane Kirkley, BFI are releasing Ghost Stories for Christmas Volume 1. Yeah, I believe they are on Blu-ray in early December. Alan, Whistle and I'll Come to You, My Lad, is one of the 4 stories in it. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love Whistle and I'll Come to You, My Lad. Yeah. I did have the DVD box set of Ghost Stories for Christmas a few years ago, but I did get rid of it because there was a few I didn't like. And, when the ones that I don't like outweigh the ones that I don't like outweigh the ones I do, I usually get rid of the box set. But I might say I'll have a look at this one anyway and see exactly what's on it. And of course, that one there, Whistle and Come to My Lad, that's an instant sale in itself. So I might just be tempted to pick that up. Ward Rutherford, The Fog takes all the old sea ghost tales and makes a terrifying take on ghosts. Yeah, not really a fan of that, Ward, but I do take your points. A lot of people do like it. I've tried to get into that a few times now, and I've ended up switching it off. I think it was a bit too slow for me, but I do take your points. A lot of people do like it. The pirates and that, the ghostly pirates. Yeah. Brian says, have you got the book about the making of the film, The Crow, and all the incidents that happened on the set? I haven't. No. Yeah, you find that a lot of these horror movies have been strange. Incidents happened, hasn't it, on the set? I know there's been 2 documentaries made called Curse Films, isn't there? I think, is it on Netflix, Amazon Prime? Amazon Prime, I think it's on, where like films like The Exorcist, The Omen, weird things happened, didn't he, on the set and that? Yeah. Oh yeah, I believe, like, real eerie incidents. Yeah, but I didn't know about The Crow. Not a fan of that movie anyway, so. Ward says Night Gallery's producer Jack Laird used to wash himself naked in the Universal Studios car park, which Leonard Nimoy said was the scariest memory. Was the scariest memory of making Night Gallery. Oh, Mrs. You learn something new every day. Yeah, so I'm enjoying this stream tonight, guys, and thanks for turning up. Really appreciate it. And these books, what I've shown you, I couldn't recommend them enough. They're fantastic, and of course I've got to mention my own, haven't I? 200. I can't even speak. I haven't even had a pint. 200 ghost stories by yours truly, Alan Toner. 200 true ghost stories features. There's going to be no Mrs. Moments here, so brace yourselves. 200 true ghost stories features terrifying cases of real life hauntings from both the UK and around the world. There are chapters on haunted houses and supermarkets, celebrity ghosts, animal phantoms, and even sexy spirits like the notorious bottom pinching ghost. Oh, Mrs. I say. In fact, virtually every conceivable type of haunting is covered in this huge volume. So there you go, guys. That's my little contribution. Should I say weighty contribution to the world of true life ghost stories and that. So I'm very proud of this book, actually, and it's in nice big print as well, as you can see. Blackpool Ghosts. You've got The Face on the Floor, Denbigh Mental Hospital in Wales. That's where Most Haunted went to a few years ago. Very, very creepy building. The Black Volga, Ghostly Car, The Haunted Vicarage Site. Yeah, these are all well-researched stories I've done, guys, for this book. So, yeah, Coronation Street Ghost, yeah. Oh, yeah, I believe Coronation Street's got its fair share of ghosts as well. You know, Elsie Tanner, you can smell a perfume and that. Yeah, so as I say, that's my little contribution to the world of, supernatural literature. And, of course, the Borley Rectory Companion. This House is Haunted. And that one. Real doorstopper of a book. Yeah. Oh, I've got many more as well in my bookshelf there. Yeah. Fascinated by I've actually wrote a book. I've got a good book on urban legends, but I've also wrote a book myself on urban legends. So I say if you go to my Amazon page, you'll see all my titles. But enough of that plug. Let's get back to the comments. Right. Okay. Fazbear Brothers, thoughts on Poltergeist films? I didn't like them. Did not like them at all. Yeah, I know a lot of people do, but they weren't my cup of tea, I'm afraid. They were more like fantasy films to me. Ed and a bottom pinching ghost back to Sir James Ghost then. Oh, Mrs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's been a few cases, sexy, salacious spirits, believe it or not, barmaids and that, had the bum smacked and that, and, various other naughty things. But, yeah. Right. Moving on. Tony Crosby, loving these streams, Alan. We tend to stick to the same topic and it's not as confusing. Yeah, I love doing them myself. You get a good conversation going and that, and it precludes the possibility of straying off the path, like going into subjects like Marvel movies, what I don't like and don't know much about, political movies, things like that. I don't really know too much about them. It keeps it on the path, doesn't it? The particular topic. What's the subject? You get the questions coming in and the answers and that, and it keeps it all straight and narrow. Chestnut 7 is saying a lot of hospitals are haunted. Believe me, they are. Yeah, I've heard a few stories. Hospitals in my neck of the woods. Ghostly nurses in old-fashioned clothes as well. Yeah, all that. Footsteps going across the floor at night, nobody there. Oh, yeah. Well, of course, what can you expect in a hospital? A lot of people passed away, haven't they, in hospitals and that. But, oh, yeah. And I'd tell you all, guys, those hospitals, when they have, like, the night staff on, they go very creepy at night, don't they? I've been in a hospital once or twice myself, like, visiting sick relatives and that and coming home and that. Oh, they go very creepy, oh, yeah. But, send a shiver down your spine. You walk along the corridors and that, and most of the staff are, they're not there and that. Yeah, just got the skeleton staff on. It'd be very, very creepy places. I tell you what, getting back to the movies, guys, that hospital in Halloween 2, that was a very, very creepy setting, wasn't it? Where Myers ran rampage and that, killing the staff and that. He was after Laurie Strode, wasn't he, in the hospital? That was my second favourite Halloween movie after Halloween. Yeah, those two first Halloween movies, Halloween 1978 and Halloween 2, 1981, I think it was. They could have been one big movie in themselves. They're my two favourites. The others after that, the others, meh, they were okay. But those first two, in my opinion, were the best. Yeah. I hated that last one, that awful Halloween Kills. Evil dies tonight. Bloody hell, how many times did they say that in that movie? Right, Ebony, Paul Darrow of Blake 7 did a real live ghost watch in 2000, full of scary technical faults, but not staged. Took place in the Tower of London. Yeah, that's got its resident ghost, hasn't it? Tower of London. Richard Brown, do you remember Michael Aspel's Strange But True? Yeah. Used to love that, and Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious Wares. I used to watch Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious Wares back in 1980. You know, it was on the television. I think it was Wednesday night. It was on. Great series. I do remember Michael Aspel's Strange But True. Excuse me. I don't remember any particular episodes. Yeah, but Arthur C. Clarke, he really covered some true like paranormal events, didn't he? Edward's saying, have you seen Ouija? I've seen a few Ouija movies, yeah. Most of which I haven't liked, no. But that one where the Origin of Evil, that's not a bad one. Yeah, don't you go back to the 1960s and there's a little girl and a mother, she's trying to sort of like boost her business, isn't she? That's a good one. Yeah, I got the Blu-ray of that one. The Lizard Monkey saying the best creepy hospital scene in a horror, that Garden Shears ghost coming out of the empty room in Exorcist 3. Oh yeah, that's a notorious scene, that, isn't it? Yeah, a real classic jump scare, that is. Yeah, oh yeah, you put the fear of God up here. Tony's saying, when my daughter was in hospital as a baby, we had to walk past the morgue, and boy, that was a strange atmosphere. I can bet so. Yeah. Edward's saying, have you seen The House on Haunted Hill, 1958? That's one of my all-time favourite movies, Edward, starring the late, great Vincent Price. Yeah, I love that movie, The House on Haunted Hill. Yeah, it's a great movie. Yeah, I love the twist as well. And Vincent Price was really on the money in that role, wasn't he? Yeah, he all had to spend the night in the house, didn't he? Yeah, for money. Yeah, it was $1 million or something. Oh, it's a great movie, that. Yeah, Vincent Price really hams her up in that, doesn't he? As he sometimes, well, quite often did in his movies, didn't he? Really, he knows he's a horror actor basically, and he sort of like really hams her up, doesn't he? Yeah. Oh, he's a great actor, Vincent Price. Right. Let's have a swig, guys. Yes, I've got to be on till 10:30, guys. So as I say, if you want to get your comments in, like, you know, feel free to do so. But oh yeah, there's been some real cracking ghost and haunted house movies made over the years, hasn't there? You know, as I say, that Legend of Hell House, that's a great one, that. And of course, The Haunting, you know, the original with Richard Johnson, and love that one as well. The Innocents, yeah. The Others, yeah. Great movies. Right. Fazbear Brothers is saying, what's your think on Ghost Train with Arthur Askey? Yeah, wasn't a great fan of that. I thought it was a bit slow for me. I was expecting so much from that movie, but yeah, I actually bought it on DVD. I ended up throwing it on eBay. I didn't like it. It was a bit too slow for me. Richard Brown's asking me, what about the skull? I love the skull. Yeah. 1965, if my memory serves me correctly, a piece of cushion. Yeah. He buys the skull of the Marquis de Sade. That's a creepy movie, that. Yeah. And I say, like, when the skull started moving around on its own and that, you know, of its own volition, you know, it scared the crap out of me. That part where it leaps off the table, I think it is, and that. Oh yeah, that was a real jump scare. That. I love the skull. Yeah, based on a short story by Robert Bloch, The Skull of the Marquis de Sade. Brian Gilson saying, I really enjoyed the Abbott and Costello haunted house films. Yeah. Whole Lot Ghost, you mean? And he met a couple of the monsters, didn't he? You know, my favourite one's Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. And I like Abbott and Costello meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's a good one. The Lizard Monkey is saying, Victoria Price, Vincent's daughter, is coming to Britain to speak and show outtakes from the films. Oh, Grace. Info on Everbright should be great. Nice. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She speaks very well of her father, doesn't she, Victoria? Yeah, I had the, a couple of years ago, I had the biography she done on him. Yeah, great read. He's one of the greatest horror actors ever, Vincent Price, and that voice. Richard Brown, oh, Mr. Porter with Will Hay. Saw that when I was a kid. I don't remember too much about it. Yeah, Will Hay, he always used to play like an irascible schoolmaster, didn't he? A very irritable schoolmaster. Yeah. Now, boys. Now, boys. Yeah, oh, he's a great actor, Will Hay. Sorry about that cheesy impression. Right, Fazbear Brother is saying, have you read the story of the monkey's? Have I read the story of the monkey's paw? That's one of my all-time favorite short stories. Yeah, I've done that in a video where I've done my greatest horror short stories of all time. Yeah, that was included, The Monkey's Paw by W. Jacobs. Yeah, and it's been I love the adaptation in Tales from the Crypt, where Richard Green. He comes on hard times and he buys this. It's not like a monkey's paw. I think it's an idol. And he has 3 wishes and that. And of course, they turn out not quite the way he anticipated. That's like a sort of like a take on the monkey's paw. And I believe there was a monkey's paw made in, was it the late 40s or late 50s? I haven't seen that one. I tell you what's a good version of the monkey's paw. The one with Orson Welles' Great Mysteries. That's a good one. Yeah. It's like a short, I think it's only about half an hour. That's a good TV adaptation of The Monkey's Paw. But yeah, I love The Monkey's Paw. Very, very creepy and unnerving story indeed. Yeah. So I say, like, you know, a lot of these classic horror movies and that, they never lose their capability to still shock and unnerve you, you know, and are that good, are that well written. Another good example, I mean, it's not really a ghost story, is Shirley Jackson's The Lottery. That's a great one. Very, very notorious short story, which is actually banned, you know, because of its like at the end, its ending and that, you know, very shocking ending and that. Oh yeah, there's been some great short stories written over the years. Another big favorite of mine is Stephen King's The Man in the Black Suit, where the little guy, the little boy, he's fishing in the woods, and this fella comes up to him in a black suit, and he's not other than the devil himself. Well, that's a real unnerving story, that The Man in the Black Suit. One of Stephen King's best stories. That another great Stephen King story, like, is The Bogeyman. That's a great one, where the bogeyman impersonates the psychiatrist, and that's a great one. That. And while we're on the subject of Stephen King, Pet Sematary, that's a great ghost story. Yeah, that was the one Stephen King said it. That was the one that really spooked him. You know, first the cat coming back from the dead, and then the little boy Gage coming back from the dead. Oh yeah, that's one of his greatest stories. That Pet Sematary. Ward is saying, Seance on a West Afternoon is a terrifically creepy film about charlatan mediums. I've got that one. Richard Attenborough. Yeah, I've got that one. There's a lot of charlatans around, isn't there? As well as genuine ones. I'd like to bet there's more charlatans than there is genuine ones. Like mediums, like, you know, a lot of them do a lot of cold reading. You know, they might say something like, "Oh, you've recently lost a relative," and that, you know, well, they're happy where they are. Well, anybody can say that. But what would convince me is that they really said something what only you and you alone knew. Nobody else knew it. You know, say you had a pet name, say the person who passed away had a pet name, say for one of your friends and that, or they knew something about you that nobody else could possibly know. That would convince me. But otherwise, if they say the same old thing, like, you know, you recently lost a relative and that, they're happy where they are, watching over you. Anybody can say that, can't they? You know, and then they do prompts, don't they? They ask you. I've seen it on TV shows at Mediums In. They prompt you, red-haired lady, blue eyes, green eyes, and they sort of narrow it down, don't they? She recently died after a long illness. They narrow it down. They say, yeah, no, and he sort of like narrow it down, don't they? Yeah. If you ever watched the Medium show, you'll know what I mean. Cold reading, that's called. Right. Tony Crosby is saying, when they found Belasco's body in The Legend of Hell House really creeped me out. Yeah, it's a great one, that. Hell House. Yeah, the novel by Richard Matheson, and also the 1973 movie starring Roddy McDowall. That's a great one. That, and Gail Honeycutt. I've got that. I've got the Blu-ray of that in my collection. Shane is saying, have you seen The Dead Room, Alan? 2016, a film from New Zealand. Another film with a twist at the end. No, I haven't seen that one. Shane, I'll have to check that one out. Yeah, the Dead Room. I'll have to check that one out. Yeah, thanks for that. Ward's saying to Tony Crosby, good shouts. That's a great moment. Yeah. Richard Brown saying great psychic scene in Deep Red. Yeah, I've got Deep Red on 4K. David Hemmings. Yeah. Right, catching up with the comments now. So just some more to come in, guys, and then we'll go on. So in regards to the literary side of the paranormal, have any of you any of you guys got an all-time favorite ghost story? You know, as I said before about my favorite all-time Christmas ghost stories is The Christmas Carol. And I'm sure, well, I know I'm not the only one that that's the favorite ghost story, favorite Yuletide ghost story. It's absolute classic, really is. Yeah. And I say I love The Monkey's Paw. But oh yeah, there's been so many great ghost stories written over the years, hasn't there? You know, very, very talented writers. Yeah. So, right, comments. Chestnut 7 says, sounds silly, but when I was younger, the story in Torture Garden out of the haunted piano creeped me. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, the haunted piano. Yeah, that the girl that was in Taste of Blood of Dracula was in that, wasn't she? The girl that played the was it the no, not Taste of Blood of Dracula. The Dracula's Risen from the Grave, and she played the I forget her name. She played the blonde girl, didn't she? In that, yeah. So, yeah, I'm enjoying it tonight, guys. Yeah, thanks very much for turning up and that. As I say, talk about ghost and haunted house movies till the cows come home. And I'm always on the lookout, for new titles and that, new ghost movies and that. Yeah, absolutely fascinating subject. It really is. Yeah. What I love most about a good ghost film is the atmosphere and the characters. They're the two things I prioritize. The characters and the atmosphere and that, and I like a good ending as well, a good surprise ending. Barbara Ewing, Richard, that's the girl, that's the actress who amends. Yeah, it was in Dracula's Risen from the Grave, and that one, the piano segments in Torture Garden. Yeah, Barbara Ewing, very, very fine actress. Tony Crosby says Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House is my favorite ghost book. It's a great book. So I agree with you. Fantastic book. Yeah, I've got it in my collection. I'm actually building up my Shirley Jackson library. Yeah, I haven't got many more to get now of hers and that. Oh, she was a great writer, Shirley Jackson. Yeah, very, very subtle horror, really unnerving horror, slowly like built up, didn't it? Yeah, that's got many layers, that one, The Haunting of Hill House, hasn't it? Many, many layers, yeah. Love the way it starts as well, the way she describes, like, say, like, whatever walked in Hill House walked there alone. Oh, that's a great introduction, that, to a ghost novel. Chestnut 7 is saying, Alan, what did you think of Quatermass in the Pit? I haven't watched that yet. I've watched the first one and I've watched the second one, which I didn't like. I like the first one. I've got to watch that one. Yeah, Andrew Kerr, the one with Andrew Kerr and the coloured one. Yeah, I have seen it before, but I want to see what it looks like on Blu-ray. So yeah, I want to watch the Blu-ray. I might do a full review of that. I watched it on the telly a few years ago, but I don't remember a lot about it. But I do remember the railway station, and the soldiers down there and that, but don't remember everything about the movie. So once I've revisited it on the Screen Factory Blu-ray, I'll probably do a review of it. I might do a ranking of all 3 Quatermass movies and that. So stay tuned for that, guys. Brian Gilson saying, I have just bought Tower of Evil on Blu-ray from the 70s. Robin Asquith about people going to investigate murders on a haunted fog-shrouded island. And that's great. That I've got that one myself, Tower of Evil. I love that one. Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. Yeah, typical enjoyable British 70s horror. Yeah, it's a great one, that. Fazbear Brothers are saying, thoughts on Edgar Allan Poe stories. Some I like and some I don't like so much. Yeah, I like the House of Usher. That's a great one. The caskets. There's the casket Amontillado. That's a good one. Yeah. The Black Cat. Yeah. Oh yeah. He was very, very. What's the name writing him? A very, very emotional writer, wasn't he? The Mask of the Red Death. Yeah. Oh yeah. He put a lot into those stories, didn't he, Edgar Allan Poe? Yeah. A lot of his stories were adapted for movies, weren't they? You know, Roger Corman made a couple, didn't he, with Vincent Price in? Yeah, I love The Fall of the House of Usher. That's a great one. Yeah, I wasn't too keen on the Tomb of Lygia. I wasn't too keen on that one, but oh yeah, he wrote some good stories. Edgar Allan Poe. Have you read any Robert Aikman? I think I've got a couple of his stories and some of the bumper horror collections I bought. Yeah, the name rings a bell. Yeah, Robert Aikman. Simon Fillingham, The Orphanage is a decent. The Orphanage is a decent, more modern film from Spain, better than what Hollywood turns out lately. I'm sure I've seen that one a couple of years ago. The Orphanage. I'm sure I've seen it. I don't remember, but the name rings a vague bell. I don't remember too much about it though. Sam K.A. Would you stay in a haunted bed and breakfast? Always wanted to do it. Well, believe it or not, a couple of years ago, I went to Blackpool for a couple of days in August, and I didn't know till the bed and breakfast where I stayed, not too far from town centre. I later learned that it was haunted. So I've stayed in a haunted bed and breakfast, but unbeknowingly, really. Yeah, so there you go. Didn't know it was haunted. Didn't see any. I never experienced anything like, but you very rarely do you? You know, maybe now and again you might experience something. Tony Crosby. They reckon the studio where Paul O'Grady's show is haunted by Hilda Baker, where she filmed Nearest and Dearest. Oh, right. Oh, I didn't know that. I used to love Hilda Baker and Nearest and Dearest. Yeah. Yeah. Paul O'Grady from my neck of the woods, Birkenhead. Yeah. You went to my school as well. I just missed him by a couple of years. Yeah. Used to love his tea time shows as well. He's been on for tea time, didn't he? Fazbear Brothers. Do you like Vincent Price and The Raven? Not one of my favourites. No. I think I put that in my 20 most boring horror movies. If you've been watching those videos I've done about 3 of them now. The Raven is very much in there. Yeah, so yeah, unfortunately, it's not one of my favourites. But I like the old one with Boris Karloff in. Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi, The Raven. I like that. There's been, see, with these post stories, they do different twists and turns, don't they, on the story? You know, a lot of the time it's only loosely based on an Edgar Allan Poe story. It's like H.P. Lovecraft. Sometimes it's only loosely based on a H.P. Lovecraft story. But in regards to the old Raven, I love that one with Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi. But I do not like that one with the magicians in. Didn't like that at all with Vincent Price and Boris Karloff. But I did like the old one, the 30s one. The Haunted Palace is a good one from Vincent Price, says Simon. Yeah, I agree. I've got that one. Arrow Blu-ray. It's a great movie, that. The Haunted Palace, yeah. Yeah, we've got just over half an hour to go, guys. So I've been really enjoying it tonight. Yeah, thanks for turning up anyway. Nice. Chestnut 7 is saying there's a new The Tavern. There's a new The Tavern. I saw it in a charity shop. The Tavern. I don't think I've seen that movie. Presume it's about a haunted tavern. Sorry, Raven. Yeah, I say, yeah, I like the old Raven, but didn't like that one, the Roger Corman one with Vincent Price and Boris Karloff. But I thought it was a bit corny, the magicians and that, you know. Yeah, I didn't like that at all. Fazbear Brothers is saying, do you like The Changeling with George C. Scott? As I said before, I'm not a fan of that movie. I found it quite boring, actually. Very, very slow. Not for me at all. Just have another whiz through the Fright Fest book, guys. See if there's any films here I might not have mentioned. Anybody seen that one with Gene Wilder and Gilda Radner, Haunted Honeymoon? I saw it a few years ago. I wasn't too keen on it. I think I rented it from on VHS. Wasn't too keen on it at all. That's a good one. Witchboard. That's a good one. That's a great movie. Witchboard. As is the sequel. There's Death Ship there I mentioned before. Great movie. Very, very creepy. There's one I haven't seen. Encounters of the Spooky Kind. Like a Japanese movie. Barbara Steele, Nightmare Castle. There's one I wasn't too fussy on, guys. It was like a comedy from 1966, The Ghost of Mr. Chicken. I wasn't too keen on that at all. That's what I'd like to add to my collection. Boris Karloff, The Terror, Jack Nicholson. That's to find a good prints of it though, because there's a lot out there that I believe the print's not very good on them. Good old Vincent Price, The House on Haunted Hill. Vincent there. Right, back to the comments then, guys. Right, Tony is saying, can you remember a program in the 70s called The Ghost of Motley Hall? Yeah. And I remember Rent a Ghost as well. Used to be on a Petite Time, didn't it? Yeah. Yeah. There's another series as well. Now, this was in 1971. I'm showing my age here. It was on a Petite Time. It was called Tottering Towers. Anybody remember a series called Tottering Towers? I used to love the theme tune of that. Oh, that was one of my favourite theme tunes, that one as a kid. Tottering Towers. Yeah. I think the fella that used to be in Mr. Rose was in it. Was his name the bald guy? Was it William Franklin? I'm sure he was in it. Yeah, Tottering Towers. I can't remember though if it was about ghosts, but I think it was. I'm sure it was. I don't think it was on very long. Yeah, but oh yeah, remember Rent a Ghost and that. Yeah, as I say, yeah. And Motley Hall wasn't really a fan of them though. Tony Crosby starring Arthur English, right? Oh, I used to like Arthur English. He was in Bollyfoot, wasn't he? And he was in Are You Being Served? He played the fellow with the brown overalls on The Odd Job Man, didn't he? Yeah, he's a great actor, Arthur English. Yeah. Richard Brown. Have you seen The Manitou with Tony Curtis? I think I saw that years and years ago, but I don't remember too much about it. Based on the novel by Graham Masterson, isn't it? Yeah, I'll have to check that out again after Manitou. I believe, I know Graham Masterson's written a couple of Manitou novels. Yeah, great writer, Graham Masterson. I think he's the nearest him in terms of gore and shocks to the late, great James Herbert. Yeah, love Graham Masterson. Simon Fillinfan, have you seen The Black Torments? I think I saw it years ago when I was a kid. Is that the one Boris Karloff in? I'm sure I saw it when I was a kid in the late 60s. I don't remember too much about it. The Lizard Monkey is saying you have a cracking library, Alan. Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I've got more books downstairs, more books in the corner. I've got tons of books and that. I'm absolute bookworm. I'm a bookworm and a movie buff all rolled into one. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I love me books. I've always been an avid reader. Yeah. Love reading. Tony Crosby, I have a copy of The Terror on DVD and the print is terrible. I believe there's a lot of bad prints out there. So yeah. I want a nice Blu-ray edition, a nice crisp, clear Blu-ray edition of The Terror. Yes, I'll be on the lookout for that. I'll have a look on the. There's a good site, guys. I don't know if you know it, called DVD Rewind. Now, if you've got your eye on a particular movie, right? You go to DVD Rewind and you type in the title of the movie, and it will tell you all the releases. I'll tell you which one's better, which is the best one to get in terms of special features and that. I always go to DVD Rewind when I type the name of a movie in and I'll go to DVD Rewind and see what the best version is to get. So it might say the American version is the best one, and it'll have on the top, or it might say all versions are the best. So yeah, I highly recommend DVD Rewind. It's a great site. It's certainly helped me in terms of my collecting. Collecting their DVD and Blu-ray pursuits. It's been a great help to me, DVD Rewind. I highly recommend it. Larry Fleet was saying Nobody's House, 1976, was a good children's series from Tyne Tees Television about a family moving into a house haunted by a young boy. Oh, right. Network put it out on DVD and it's on YouTube. Nobody's House. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, thanks for that, Larry. Chestnut 7 is saying there was a Vincent Price film on the other night. It had 3 stories. I can't remember the name. Now it's had Tales in the title. Now, I think I know the one you mean. Oh God, they're all based on aren't they based on a story by one of the classic horror writers, aren't they? Oh, what's it called? I know the one you mean. He's in every story, isn't he? Oh gosh, what's it called? I've got it on Blu-ray downstairs. Yeah, I know the one you mean. Not Tales of Terror or Tales of Unease. It's something like that. Twice Told Tales. That's the one. Twice Told Tales. Yeah, that's a great one, that. Twice Told Tales. Richard Brown is saying Graham Masterson and James Herbert were friends. Yeah, both great writers. The Lizard Monkey, Tottering Towers star Tim Barrett, Robert Gillespie, and David Lodge of Cockleshell Heroes. Right? Yeah. My memory's a bit blurry on Tottering Towers, but I do remember. I used to love the theme tune, Tottering Towers, now, but I don't remember the details of any of the episodes. It's so long ago, 1971. Anybody remember talking about kids TV? Anybody remember Tarot, Ace of Wands? That was quite popular. Yeah, and I used to love Magpie as well. Yeah, Susan Stranks, Tony Bastable. Yeah, and then later on, of course, Jenny Hanley. Yeah, she's another great famous actress of mine. Jenny Hanley. Yeah, absolutely love Jenny Hanley, especially in the Scars of Dracula and the Flesh and Blood show. Yeah, and of course, she went on to host Saturday Night at the Mill, didn't she, in the early 80s? Yeah, lovely lady as well. Yeah. The Lizard Monkey. What's the best price you've received for DVDs and Blu-rays you sold on eBay? Any surprises? Oh, I can't think. No, I can't. Honestly, I can't think. Can't at the moment. Not off the top of my head. Anyway, I can't think. The Lizard Monkey, Tales of Terror is the Price trilogy. Yeah, Tales of Terror. Yeah, that's a great one. That. Yeah. Chestnut 7. That's it, Alan. Yeah. Yeah, Tales of the Price trilogy. Yeah. Tony's saying, have you seen The Frighteners with Michael J. Fox? Saw it years ago on VHS. Don't remember too much about it. Isn't it based on the novel by Stephen Laws? I'm sure it's based on the novel by Stephen Laws. Yeah. That's a bit of a comedy. Right. So we'll go on till 10:30, guys. We've got 25 minutes left. So as I say, please feel free to ask me anything you like about ghosts and the paranormal, true or fiction. But I've really enjoyed it tonight and that, and I might do another one actually, because there's so much I could talk about ghosts and the as I say, I could talk about ghosts and the paranormal till the cows come home. Absolutely fascinates me. It really does. But yeah, all the different cases and that, and all the great ghost and haunted house movies made over the years and that. Oh yeah, it's a great genre. Yeah, it's just it's absolutely fascinating. The Lizard Monkey is saying any 80s kids like me have Dark Towers. Any 80s kids like me have Dark Towers as a school's program. Christopher Biggins was a ghost hunter. Haven't seen that one. Brian's saying, do you like Vincent Price film Bloodbath at the House of Death? It's really good. That's the one with Kenny Everson, isn't it? And Pamela Stevenson. And yeah, it's a good spoof. Yeah. And Gareth Hunt's in it, who's in the Avengers. Yeah. They're all like, they have like doppelgangers, don't they? Yeah. It's good fun. It's a good fun watching that. Yeah. Yeah. Someone like, it's a bit similar to what's better to the Frankie Howard, the House in Nightmare Park, which I wasn't too keen on. I expected good things from that. The House on Nightmare Park, but I didn't. I thought it was a bit stupid, but I do like that one with Kenny Everson. Tony's saying, I have a couple of great DVDs called Look Back. Each DVD has an episode of classic 70s kids programs and about 4 hours long. Yeah, I think I know the ones you mean. So yeah. They done some ones with Look In. Didn't you remember the Look In magazine? That was a big staple of my growing up in the 70s. I always bought the Look In. Yeah. Yeah, they might be the same ones. I don't know, because I have seen ones with Look In on, and it's about 3 or 4 hours long. It might be the same ones. The Lizard Monkey to Brian Gilson. The thing with that is that Kenny Everett is in it, but he's not dressed as the big bosom cat. He's not dressed as the big bosomed Cupid stunts, and he should be in that. It's all done in the best possible taste. Remember, he used to do that in his show. Take that woman up crossing the legs. Yeah, I used to watch the Kenny Everett video show in the late 70s and that. Yeah, the part where he took the Bee Gees off as well. You always remember that as well. Yeah, oh, he's a good laugh, Kenny Everett. Yeah. Richard Brown, did you ever see the Ghost of Flight 501? I think I have seen that. Yeah, don't remember too much about it. Sam KS, do you drink at all, Alan? Is so Ghost Ship is a nice drop. All right. Yeah, I'm not a heavy drinker. No. Tony Crosby, that's what the DVDs are based on. Look In, right? Yeah. Yeah, I used to love the Look In, so I always bought that. Especially when ABBA were in it, because he'd done a lot of features on ABBA, you know, and when I saw ABBA on the front, I thought, oh yeah, gotta get it. I've got to get that. Yeah. They've done a couple of Look In annuals as well, didn't they? I always remember, you know, it's when that was first published on well, it was advertised on ITV, and Tony Bastable was the anchor man. He'd come on and he'd talk about it, like Look In is the new magazine and that, you know. Yeah. I remember Magpie well, you know, Tony Bastable and Susan Stranks and that. Always watched it at tea time. And of course, that was another big favourite of mine with Fred Dinage. Yeah, How do you make this? How do you make that? So wonder they haven't revived that, you know. Well, you know, they're reviving a lot of these programs, aren't they? They might do it one day. They'd revive Blankety Blank. So, you know, another program. So they just might revive How. Brian Gilson, at the Lizard Monkey, that would have been funny. Fazbear Brothers saying, do you like the film What's a Carve Up? That's like a Carry On movie, isn't it? I've seen it. Isn't Sir James in that? Yeah. Bernard Bresslaw. I think I've seen that on the Horror Channel. Yeah. It does ring a bell. What's a Carve Up? Yeah. It's a kind of a murder mystery movie. Yeah, I'm sure I've seen that one. What's a Carve Up? It's like a Carry On movie. My favorite Carry On movie is Carry On Screaming. Frying Tonight. I love that scene. Kenneth Williams. Yeah. I love and Fenella Fielding and that, you know. Yeah. Fenella Fielding and that. Yeah. And Harry H. Corbett and Jim Dale. That's a great one, that. Carry On Screaming. And Oddbod and that, you know, like the Frankenstein monster. It's like a spoof, isn't it? On the Hammer films and Universal all rolled into one. Love Carry On Screaming. It's just waiting for some more comments to come up, guys. Tony's back again with the comments. Jack Hargraves on How always was reminding me of a twisty old sod. Oh, right. He done a couple of what's the names programs, didn't he, Jack Hargraves? Fishing and that. You're talking about fishing. Of course, Fred Dinage, he went on to do like hosting, didn't he, TV shows and that. And he done a couple of crime documentaries, didn't he, Fred Dinage? Yeah. Hang on. Ebony is saying Carry On Screaming has scary bits in it. Kids, good call. Yeah, very, very well done movie. Carry On Screaming. Chestnut 7 says, never take sweets from a stranger. I finally saw it on TV the other night. Pretty good film. I've got that one in the Indicator Hammer, the Indicator Hammer box set. It's a good movie, that, in black and white. Yeah. Some of those, some of those Hammer Indicator box sets, a little bit of hit and miss. You know, there's a couple. There's one I missed. Well, the one I didn't buy was the one with the pirates and the swashbuckling movies, and they're not really my thing. Then their movies, you know, the Pirates of Blood River and all. I'm not really into those kind of movies like Pirates and that, and Robin Hood and all that. Not my cup of tea at all. But I do like the Hammer Gothic films like Dracula and Frankenstein. But I wasn't a big fan of like movies like The Sword of Sherwood Forest and The Devil's Ship Pirates. So no, didn't like them. Richard Brown, did you like Mama? Funny enough, I bought a Blu-ray of that. A couple of months ago, and it was awful copy. You know, it wasn't even the movie either, and that, you know, it was a totally different movie in that. Well, I only got it for £1 and that, so I just disposed of it and that, you know, threw it away and that, because it wasn't worth it, like going back and that for £1 and that, you know. So I threw it out and that, yeah. Right, let's wait for some more comments. But I will get that moment again next time. I hope it's the right bloody movie. Don't know how they got away with that, taking the movie off somebody. It wasn't the film that was advertised to be. Ridiculous. Right, so as we've got about quarter of an hour, guys, to go. So I'll finish at 10:30, which I say 2.5 hours is pretty reasonable for me. I think that's about right, the right duration, to do the live stream. Ward Rutherford is saying, do you have any of the Fontana or Pan books of horror? If so, what are your favorite stories in them? Yeah, I've started recollecting them and that. Yeah. I haven't read the stories for years and years because last time I read those books was when I was in the 70s and that. So I don't remember too much about them and that. So I've got to reread them and that, and then of course I'll refresh my memory, and then I'll be able to sort of like say then what my favorite stories are. Yeah, I only just started recollecting them and that. Some little crackers in them though, from what I can remember. Tony Crosby, I'm the same with war movies, Alan, especially Hammers. Yeah, I'm not really a great fan of war movies. I do like the odd one. The Longest Day was good, and The Bridge Too Far. Yeah, but I'm not really great. I'm not a fanatic on war movies. And we've got to let's face it, we've had enough war this year, haven't we? What's going on, but yeah, I don't really go out all the time and look specifically for war movies, but I do like a good one, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I tell you what movies, guys, that really bore me, and I mean really bore me to tears, those bloody espionage movies and political things. Oh, God. I can't stand them. Espionage and that, and they're awful. And heists. I'm not fussy on heist movies either. Whether you rob a train or a bank and that. Not my cup of tea at all, I'm afraid. Brian Gilson, me and my mum watched Taste of Blood of Dracula again last night. It's a good movie. It's a great movie, Taste of Blood of Dracula. I love everything about that. Love Christopher Lee coming back to reprise his role as Count Dracula. Ralph Bates was good as the sinister Lord Courtly, and the three businessmen who were looking for excitement in their lives and that. Love the setting as well. The sanctified church. And I love everything about it and that. A great movie, Taste of Blood of Dracula. Well, all the Christopher Lee's movies are great. When he plays Dracula, let's face this, nobody's ever come close, in my opinion. Still, the great man was here today making horror movies. Richard Brown, Mama starts off good, but then tails off. Yeah. Larry Fleetwood, Ghostbusters 1984 was good fun. The 1989 sequel, though, was awful. I don't think anything worked in that one. I'm not a fan of Ghostbusters. I know I could be crucified by a lot of people who like it. I never liked it. Right from when I first saw it, I did not like it at all. So I'm not a fan. But I do like the song, though. Father Brothers, in my opinion, Mama was a bad film. Yeah. Ebony, Ali G is not everybody's cup of tea, but his sketch interviewing and pranking Morris Gross of the Enfield Poltergeist is hilarious. I haven't seen that, so I can't comment on that one. Brian is saying, have you read about the story of Flannan Lighthouse, where 3 lighthouse keepers mysteriously disappeared? I haven't, Brian. No, I'll have to check that out. I love stories about creepy lighthouses and that. Yeah. Oh, while we're on the subject of lighthouses, guys, have any of you seen that movie, The Lighthouse, that modern one? It's in black and white, isn't it? Yeah. From what I've the reviews have seen, I think I'll give that a miss. I think it's yeah. Some people said it's a very, very strange movie, The Lighthouse. Yeah, and there's one particular gross scene in that which I won't go into now. But yeah, it sounds an awful movie, that Lighthouse. Right. Simon Film Fan, are you a member of Facebook Hammer groups? I'm a member of a couple of them. Yes, Simon. Yeah. The trouble with Facebook, there's that many groups on there. I mean, I run a couple myself. I run the True Ghost Stories group and the Horror Stories group, which has got quite a few members now. Yeah, but you can get really, what's the name? Once you start browsing those Facebook groups, you can get hooked on them, can't you? And they're putting that many comments on all the time, and the groups I'm in, I'm getting that many people joining every day. I can't keep up with them anymore, getting out of control. The Lizard Monkey is saying, was it Three Men and a Baby, the film where there's meant to be a ghost on screen? I saw Three Men and a Baby years and years ago. I don't remember too much about it. That's the one with Tom Selleck in, isn't it? And it's a Kirstie Alley. Chestnut 7. I don't like the Star Wars films. I don't like them. I hate them. Not my cup of tea. No, I don't like them at all. I've never been able to understand why so many like them and that, you know, but that's just my opinion. You know, they never did anything for me. I think they're too kiddie for me. The two sort of like, for sort of like more the puerile kind of, you know, market demographic. You know, if you like a good sort of like kids space movie, I think they're more. There's no horror in them, is there? Let's face it. My favorite sci-fi movie is Alien, 1979, which I just got the 4K in Chester on Tuesday. I've upgraded to the 4K. Love Alien. Aliens is okay, but that's more of an adventure movie, isn't it? Yeah, there's not much horror in that. Although there are some pretty creepy scenes in it, but not as creepy as in Alien. I would always describe that one as the haunted house movie in space. Yeah, but I love Alien. Still Winster when that chest burster scene comes on with John Hayes. Oh, one of the most shocking, grossest scenes in horror movie history. The chest burster scene. Tony's saying, did Abbott and Costello do a ghost movie? Did he do Whole Lot Ghost? Yeah, the one where I can remember the scene where Lou Costello, isn't he sitting by a woman or something, and doesn't he lift the, or he or she lift the thing up, and doesn't they? Is it a cup slides down like that, or a candle? It slides down like that. I'm sure that's Whole Lot Ghost. The candle slides down and that, and then he looks and it stops, and then it slides down again. It slides down the thing as it's lifted up. I'm sure that's in Whole Lot Ghost. If anybody can enlighten me on that, guys, please do so. Richard is saying The Lighthouse is an amazing film. Oh, so you liked it then, Richard? I've heard a lot of stories about it. It's put me off. So it's very, very slow, very strange movie. So that's why I've given it a miss. But I suppose it's all a matter of personal opinion, really, isn't it? It's like Hereditary, Midsummer. You know, they're, again, Marmite movies and that. You know, a lot of people like them. A lot of people hate them, you know. All comes down to personal taste, doesn't it? One man's meat and that. The Lizard Monkey, The Lighthouse is weird but great. The scene with William Dafoe pleasing himself. Oh, missus. Which pleased a few men and women I know, but was too strange. Oh, right. Not the sort of movie you could watch while you're having your dinner, I presume. Larry Fleetwood, Lauren Hardy did quite a few ghostly shorts, great stuff. A Haunting We Will Go, that was the main feature, wasn't it? A Haunting We Will Go. Simon Film Fan, I hate Marvel superhero films. There's too many of them. Far too many of them. And the DC, they're churning them out hand over fist, and you know, at times it can be a bit too much. The only Marvel films I like really the Spider-Man, you know, and DC Batman. Don't really like. I don't go much on the X-Men and all them, you know, Wolverine and all that. Not my cup of tea at all, you know. So yeah, not a fan. I had a couple of Incredible Hulk movies and they were atrocious. Say no more on them. Richard Brown, The Ghost in Three Men was a poster reflected in a mirror. Oh, right. Shane's, hang on, sorry. Bear with me, guys. I just skipped then. Shane is saying, did you enjoy the BBC's Count Dracula 1977, Alan, with Louis Jordan? I did, yeah. The closest Dracula to Christopher Lee, in my opinion. Watching the Count climbing the castle walls scared the life out of a 14-year-old back in the day. It needs a Blu-ray release. It does need a Blu-ray release, Shane. And if anybody, any of the representatives of Arrow or any other company, you know, get it out on Blu-ray because it's great. It's a great movie. Louis Jordan's really on the money playing Count Dracula. He's the class I say he's the closest to Christopher Lee in my honest opinion. You know, so yeah, I love that one, but I did not like that last one that was shown a couple of Christmases ago. I hated that. I didn't like the mood. I didn't like the humor they put in it. I hated that third installment as well. It was an awful TV adaptation of Stoker's novel. And why did they have to put these bloody comedic wisecracks in? They've done the same with Freddy Krueger, ruin the character. Why keep if you're gonna do a horror comedy, make sure you get the balance right, because sometimes you can make a mistake if you put like an iconic character in and you give them like a few corny lines. It can totally ruin the movie. Keep it straight horror, or don't do it at all. Leave the comedy out. You can't do it properly. Ward Rutherford is saying to Lizard Monkey, yes, there's meant to be the ghost of a kid who hanged himself on the Disney set behind a curtain in a scene where they are packing. Oh, right. Anybody hear stories about Toys R Us in America being haunted? Yeah, there's one particular store supposed to have a ghost in that, a rather pesky ghost. Yeah, it's surprising, isn't it? Some of the ground on some of these shops, you don't know the history of the ground and that, what they've been built on and that. Simon says, have you seen the Ghost of Mrs Muir with Gene Tierney? Saw it years ago. I referred to that before. That's the one with Rex Harrison, isn't it? Where he's the ghost of a sea captain. And doesn't she fall in love with him? And doesn't he have a rival? It's years since I saw it. But I know he did a series of it as well, didn't he? Yeah, I'm sure it was Samantha Egger that was in the TV series. The girl that was in the Anna and the King. Or was it Celeste Holm? It might have been Celeste Holm that was in the Ghost of Mrs. I think it was Celeste Holm that was in the Ghost of Mrs Muir, the series. Tony Crosby to Simon Film Fan. I agree with you. They're overrated, long and boring. Yeah. Ward Rutherford to Richard Brown Hart. Was it just that? It creeped me out, that story. Ebony is saying Algernon Blackwood short films from the 1940s. And on the BFI website, he's just standing facing the camera telling his ghost stories in a creaky old room, and they are terrifying. I had that short, sharp shocks with him on. Yeah, I wasn't too keen on it. So needless to say, I flung it on eBay. Yeah, I didn't like the volume 2 either. That was a load of rubbish as well. Yeah, didn't like it. Didn't like those short, sharp shocks. Right, Eb saying Clay's Bang looked like a good Dracula, but the script was just all over the place. I'd like him to try a proper scary Dracula film. Yeah, if that's possible. Nobody's up to now. Christopher Lee's been my scariest Dracula. Nobody's ever emulated him, in my opinion. Right, we've got 5 minutes, guys, and so if you want to get your questions in, I'll try to whisk through as many comments as I can before I sign off for the night and that. But thanks again, anyway, guys, for turning up. I've really enjoyed it, and that it's been a great night, and all going well. Fingers crossed. I should be back next week with another themed live stream. Yeah, I love doing these themes and that. As I say, you can get a good discussion going, and if you get a lot of like-minded people in the room and that, it makes for a good night. Yeah. Richard's saying there's supposed to be ghosts in the background in the Wizard of Oz. Oh, right, I didn't know that. Ghosts in the background of the Wizard of Oz. I'll say night, great stream. Oh, thanks very much, Jeb. Yeah, thanks for coming, mate. Yeah, I've enjoyed it and all going well. If you decide to pop in next Thursday, I look forward to talking to you again. Yeah, have a nice weekend. Thanks again. Larry's saying Boris Karloff's really seen TV anthology series The Veil had a few good ghost episodes. Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. They're quite good. Yeah. Weren't they the precursors to Thriller? I've got the Thriller box set. It's great. Yeah. Tony Crosby, nice, Alan, gang. See you next time. Have a blast. Have a great weekend. Oh, thanks very much, Toe. Yeah, thanks for turning up. Have a nice weekend yourself. Yeah, and all going well. If you decide to pop in next Thursday, I look forward to chatting to you again. Thanks, Toe, mate. Brian is saying, my mum and nephew and I really enjoyed your stream about the paranormal. Your book looks really good. Oh, thanks very much, Brian. Yeah, nice to have you along. Yeah, I really enjoyed it and that. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, as I say, I hope to do another one in a couple of weeks' time on the paranormal and that. Yeah, love talking about ghosts and the paranormal. I've done that much research for my books and that. I've got a lot of material that I can sort of like bring to the table. And discuss it and that. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, thousands and thousands of haunted places I haven't even touched on in this stream. So there you go. Ward saying, have a good night, Alan. Oh, thanks very much, Ward. Yeah, nice to have you along. Thanks for keeping me company. You're too nice a guy for me to argue that the new BBC Dracula was great. So I'll do it next time. Oh, cheers. Oh, no worries, mate. Yeah, yeah. You take care now and have a nice weekend. And thanks again for coming along. Yeah, nice talking to you. Thanks, Ward. Right. So we've got 2 minutes, guys. As I say, if you want to get some last comments in, I'd be happy to, answer you. Yeah, but I've really enjoyed it. Yeah, really have. And as I say, this book here, I can't recommend it highly enough. If you like your ghost and haunted house movies, you could do no worse than to get yourself a copy of this, and indeed all the other titles under the Fright Fest banner. Yeah, great book. So there you go. Then of course the Borley Rectory, that companion, the ultimate book on Borley Rectory, definitely. Yeah. Right. Right. Fazbear Brothers, good night, Alan. Great stream about the paranormal. Hope to see you again soon. Oh, thanks very much. Yeah. Thanks for popping in. I've enjoyed talking to you. Yeah, and all going well. I'll talk to you again very, very soon in the next live. Yeah. Have a nice weekend. Brian, I'm going to get it for my mum. She's going to an hospital for an operation. She will love to read it while she's recuperating. Oh yeah, cheers, Brian, mate. Yeah. Yeah, so so hope she gets okay in that, everything turns out all right. Right, the lizard monkey. Was it a chocolate shop in Chester? He said was haunted. Yeah. It's a chocolate shop, confectioner. Confectioner's chocolate shop. Right, last comments. Simon, nice Alan, great stream. Oh, thanks very much, Simon. Yeah. Thanks for dropping in. That really enjoyed it. Have a nice weekend, and I'll talk to you again very, 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 very soon. All right, then, guys. Well, I think I'll call it a night now. Thanks very much again, everybody, for turning up. I've really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed tonight. Yeah, great subjects and that, great questions and that, and some great topics we broached. As I say, I could talk about ghosts and the paranormal, haunted houses till the cows come home. So I hope to do another one in a couple of weeks and that, another ghost and paranormal themed stream and that. So so thanks again, guys. Have a nice weekend. Take care. And I'll talk to you all again very, very soon. Thanks. Bye.